Good morning, everyone. Welcome in. 8-Bits here with a wonderful Saturday. I had to remember what day it is. It's a wonderful Saturday. And why is it a wonderful Saturday? One, I get to stream and not have to work. Crazy Dragon or Dragoon, welcome in. Yes. All the nerds, right? How's the wifey? Wifey's doing well. She's off to work. We have a slightly different schedule. So she is off like her 3 days. So she's off like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then I'm off Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So slightly different schedule, but she's off to work this morning. Doing well though. Doing well. Although last night, our little fluff ball here, a little fur ball, I guess, decided to keep us up at like 2 a.m. I don't know why. Wanted to go out, wanted to, run around and do stuff. And we're like, it's 2 a.m. There is no reason for this. But of course, we ended up taking her out. None. So how have you been? And I appreciate you coming by my stream. Did we like the dishes? We have liked everything you have posted. She's been making a list of trying to fit things into when she's going to be doing next cooking streams. So she's already planning stuff. So I'm not sure like where she's fitting it in, but I know she wants to make something. You're just waking up? Excellent. Yeah, it's only like 7 a.m. here. I think I got up at a little late this morning. I got up around 5:40. Normally I try to get up about 5:20. It's 9. Okay. That's okay. She would be sleeping. She'd sleep until like 10. So she likes her sleep. I don't always need or want all the extra sleep, but I did this morning. I know this Monday she is not doing a cooking stream. I am out of town for work starting Monday, and I'm gone until Friday. And she doesn't. It's a lot of extra effort to set up for the cooking stream, right? We have diffuser lights that we set up, getting the camera going, getting the tablet. It's a USB-C style monitor, like flat screen, that we have in the kitchen that we set up. So it's a lot for her, right, to do by yourself. Plus getting all the mic stuff set. So there will be no cooking stream for her on Monday. Trisp, welcome in. How you doing this morning? It's a glorious Saturday morning. Yeah. Hi, Sophie. I'm doing well. It's getting a little colder here. My beard is getting a little bit longer, and we're good. Although this last couple of days have been crazy. I've been prepping. I travel Monday for work, right? And I have a presentation on particular project management stuff that I'm doing. But I have a presentation that I have to give during the workshop. So I've been trying to prep and get all that ready, and a little nervous with the travel for it, right? Travel, then present. You're like, man, there's a lot. Yes, let's see. At least you're bringing us some Canadian culture. I appreciate it. Trisp, and I hope you are doing well. Yeah. I've been lurking a lot this week. Unfortunately, just been busy. Right? So, one of the other things that I've been doing when I could fit it in is I have been playing in a game. I know it's rare. I get to play games, but I've been playing a game called Soulframe. It's currently sort of in like an alpha phase, but the alpha phase is like amazing, right? What they're calling like the founder phase. And I've been playing it for a little while. I really enjoy it. I'm going to show just a quick thing on it. If you've never seen, I don't know if anybody out there has played the game Warframe. It's by the same developers, except this is their like RPG, another action RPG game. Totally different storyline, everything, but it's a lot of fun. And there it goes. I mean, I'm really enjoying it, right? So the graphics are just up there, like they're really smooth, really nice. Right now, the voices are no longer, when they first allowed people in, all the voices were the developers. So they weren't very good voice acting, but it was funny to hear the developers try to give lines. Now all that has been fixed, and it's really nice. But yeah, this is kind of the game. Like I said, it's something worth checking out. So if you liked playing Warframe and action like RPG styles, it's a fun game. And like I said, it is it's the developers of Warframe. So it's kind of similar in the fact that it's solo play or with a friend, like co-op. But you won't see a lot of people until you get into the little town, like the little village areas. And I think this game has come a long way. No, I don't even want ads on there. Come on. Always ads on crap. There we go. And Trips, you're currently trying to move your camera. I move it occasionally. I like it kind of at an angle for me, because like everything I'm doing is on this monitor. It's sitting above this monitor, slightly at an angle. Anyways, what games has everybody been playing this week? I've been watching. I know, Trisp, you've been doing solo leveling. She gets into these games and gets way ahead of me. But Jeepin has been playing solo leveling as well. But she's, I think, almost a 30, level 30. I think I'm getting close to like 20. Outside of that, Kelvar, good morning. You're loving solo leveling. Hey, Trisp, I know you're higher level, right? So, you're on the last boss? Nice. I was going to say, did you feel like it was getting monotonous at all with the gameplay loop on higher levels? The bosses smacking you around? Yeah, that happens. They're tough bosses. I mean, you also play it on hard, too, so, like, you're going to get smacked a bit. How are you this morning, Kelvar? Let's see. I do know on next week, here it is, Octopath, this game comes out, and I've played a early version of this, and it's a lot of fun. Let me see if I can get it up here. Let me pause some music here.
There was nothing. Everything began with the birth.
Yeah, it's another game by Square. Like I said, I played a beta of this.
The land of Orstera.
You play. Trist, you play it on hard level, so you're gonna get smacked around a little bit, right?
Yes, I suppose the time is right. You're finally ready.
Anyways, I'm kind of looking forward to this coming out. Octopath Traveler 0. I think it's good, right?
I wish I could see everyone here laughing and smiling.
And that comes out next week. So there's an extreme mode once you are done with hard mode. Holy cow. That would be that'd be tough. But like I said, I've been playing a lot of Soulframe this week. They're no longer doing wipes now in the alpha, so my character can stick around for a while. But outside of that, I don't know. What else is there to chit chat about? Oh, I do know. Like Monday, I'm not going to have a stream. So this weekend is only 2 streams because you were looking at Soulframe, but it's still missing content. Yes, it is missing some content. Right now, yeah. It has, I don't know, you could definitely play for more than 30 hours on it. It's got a lot to it now. But like the map is massive. It's a good game though. You know, if you want like access on their main page, which is this, you can go all the way down the bottom and join us, right? You can learn more and request access to it. They've opened it up more, but it's a fun game. So I've been playing that. I've been playing tons of games. Short bursts of all these games, right? So I'm done playing with Once Human, though. I only wanted to get back into it because of the pals. But that's kind of it. So, all right. Well, I think we'll roll over into our game and check where we're at and try to figure out what we're doing today. Here we are. Drop this. All right, so currently, I have been working on the zone here, right? So the marsh. It's got all kinds of trees and everything else in there. I've been working on objects that are going in. So like all these little, I don't know, shrubs, bushes of stuff, wire things, some rocks, that kind of stuff to it to give it a little more flair, right? But that is just one of the areas. There's 4 sort of biomes to the game. So we have a swamp covering, well, 3 biomes. 4. The caves I'll count as a biome. So we have the marsh, right? Light marsh and deep marsh, and then we have like ancient forest up here, and we have grasslands over here. I have 2 enemies out here for testing, and one NPC is actually the NPC, and the others are just little pills, like, I don't know, pill pocket things. But they're getting there. They're getting there. I think today we're going to be working on some of the attack structure, right? Let me get this back up here. So by that, I mean, currently, when you get into a fight, it has one NPC to it. I'm making it so there's 3. And I did that yesterday, but we need to continue working on it, right? So, like I said, you can travel back and forth. Here's the barkeep. You can talk to him, get a quest, that kind of thing. There is an inventory system. And when you walk up here to the NPC area, they all yell at you, right? They're all bitching at you, saying, hey, you know, that kind of stuff like that. Hey, you. You know, all the fun stuff, right? So I have them while walking around, testing, having multiple NPCs out. And like I was saying, I guess I could make that bigger. Let's make that bigger. There. So yeah, the NPCs are here doing their thing. They're all yelling random messages at a different time. And then I have the NPCs. The enemies, I mean. So where is... There he is. He's over in the tree. But, until I get, like, the depth layers correct. So, when you make contact with them, this is kind of how it is right now. I started to make it so that there's, like, you with 3 different enemies. And when you attack, what it does now is it attacks all 3 enemies at the same time. However, when they attack, you are not taking 3 separate damages. So you only take damage once. So I think that's what we're going to try to start working on a little bit today. Trying to clean this up. Get it so you have to attack 1 at a time. Yeah. All right. And then, like I said, I've been working on this, trying to get this up and running a little bit. Added in some bubbles and that kind of stuff. Depth is not correct. I was using, let me move this. On here, all the scenery, they were just sprites. So all this extra little stuff is just sprites. I think what's going to happen is I need to change that and make it into like an object. Right? So if we bring that out, like I have all these objects here, or sprites, that are trees, everything else. I think they all just need to be objects. And that way I can control their depth layer a little easier than I can right now. Yeah, well. All right. Let's move that. And I appreciate the lurk there. I don't know. I keep thinking of the game Soulframe. It's in sort of an alpha phase right now. It has lots more stuff coming down the pipeline, so I'm excited to play it. All right. If we need battle room, here we go. So we're going to move these for right now. We're not going to worry about like how it all looks so much. And we're going to do that, right? Yeah, we'll just leave this up there. That's fine. So get my screen right. Okay. What I want is for this, we are doing turn-based attack, right? I think a couple ways that we're gonna I'm gonna try this, right? We need to make it so that it goes like enemy 1 to enemy 2 to enemy 3. And then it'll be their turn. Well, no. I think it's you have your turn and you get to attack. Yeah. All right. So you attack. Where's my notepad? There we go. New, not right now. Okay, so turn-based attacks, right? I think it's literally going to be player dash enemy 1, then enemy 1 to player. Or like, should it be pre-designated on which one you are attacking first, or they are random, like you get to pick which one you want to attack? And we're also going to make it so if you open your inventory, uses up a turn, right? So if you open your inventory, use an item, it uses up a turn. But because I've been working on a quick bar, but if you use a quick item, you can still attack, because the quick bar is essentially items on a belt, right? If you're doing a potion, it's just a little vial that's sitting right there. You can yank it off and use it. But if you have to stop, pull your pack over, open it up to get an item, you're using up a whole turn. when a player attacks an enemy in turn-based, do we feel like it's best to do player, enemy, 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 or player, enemy, player, enemy, player, enemy? I've seen it both ways. I'm leaning towards player, enemy, 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 right? So we'll say enemy to player, and then it's enemy 3 player, and then it's back to player to enemy. Right, I think that will be kind of the little loop for this. Now, it's going, if I can get it, I want it to be random on how many enemies show up. Right, so I don't know, random 1, 2, 3. Okay. Yeah, I think that's the one that we'll stick with. If anyone in chat has played turn-based attack games, how are you feeling with player attacks, then it's enemy, then it's all the enemies one by one, then it's the player again, versus player to an enemy, player, enemy, player, enemy? Like I said, I have seen it both ways. I think it's more common, and I think I prefer it with the player, all the enemies one by one, then the player again. So you're doing a full loop. All right, so we have battle switcher code. This is just handling the switch of the rooms. We don't really need this, so we're going to close that. Battle manager, I think we do need. And battle enemy code, we're going to need the battle player code as well. All right, we'll open that up. On here, where this is the HP, plus or minus 20. Good morning, Jeepin. How are things at work? Everything's still good. GNA? I'm just gonna call you GNA. Welcome in. Probably better if attack order is determined by a skill, stamina, etc. So changes as player levels. Oh, that might be a good idea. All right, let me mark that down as an idea. Nah. Oh, nah. Nah. Okay, I got you. Nah. Welcome in. G-Man, your work is not as bad today. Well, that's good. Well, let's put attack order determined by skill. I don't know, stamina, etc. Changes as player levels. Cool. All right. We have that into the notes. One of the first things that we need to adjust, though, is this. Right now, the bar is a little bit off. So we want to fix that. We're going to shorten it. X is probably okay. Y, we're going to say, we're just going to do it 2 at a time. Right? Because what I'm talking about is come down, go here. Let's find an enemy. You. This. All the health bars are really low. Where's my origin point? That might be part of the problem. Have I adjusted their origin points yet? Maybe. New. Okay. Their origin points are in the bottom. So let's do that. Let's change all these to middle center. And we're going to do that with our NPCs. Right? And our enemies. So the skeleton, we're going to make that middle center as well. Let's do that with this one. And that should be good. All right, let's just restart it and see what it's doing. G-Man, you do have a few tickets to handle, so you will be lurking. I appreciate the lurk. All right, there we are. Oops. I see another problem. Okay, so it is right at XX. I need to adjust the shadow. Is that a script? Draw shadow. Yes. We need to change the Y. And we're going to say 10. So we're going to stop it again. Fix things as we go, right? So let's make this match. For the player, I was doing something totally different. I coded in a shadow versus drawing a shadow directly on the sprites of the player. It's different, I know. I wanted to try something, and it works. It works pretty good. There we go. Waiting for OBS to catch up. Come on, OBS. Are we not seeing it now? Why? That's weird. That's weird. No. All right, there it is. Yeah, that was weird. All right. Let's go check this out, right? So we leave here, come out. Let's go right into it. I think that's better. Let's just move this guy up, and we'll be closer to where we want him, right? We'll put him there. Move you up, and move you up. All right, so if we do an attack right now, okay, that looks good. I think if we, what? All right, where? Battle, player. Inventory, we don't need inventory open right now. Item data, we don't need that. We want probably one of the parents open for the enemy. Because when you make contact, it's a step draw. All right, this is just chat stuff, drawing the enemy. That's about it. I have it set up so that the enemy can yell at you before they actually run into you. Like, I'm going to make it so that they run towards you, right? And they're going to be yelling at you, which, you know, should be fun. Here's my bitch at enemy. If instance exists, some step. So let's pull up the actor one. They're going into a step, which is in part of the state machine that I have. This is walking around. This is if they're in the pub. This is their attacking. Where did I put the collision? It's probably inside the player. Right? Let's close that. Let's look at the object player here. Collision with the enemy, right? So draw. Burger, potion, switch. All right. If instance object battle switcher exists, we exit. But if not, we create object battle switcher. Then we go to the room. So object battle switcher is really just moving you into the room. That's all it handles. Delays it, moves you. Once you're there, Battle Manager runs everything. Right. Yeah, this is where player takes damage. How's a good way to do this? We have different objects in the battle room, right? So in the battle room, I have the battle player and the battle enemies, not the actual objects, the original objects, right? It just creates a different instance of that object. So here we're pulling enemy data, which brings it over. We're not having them walk. X, Y, draw. This is their HP stuff. I'm trying to think of a good way so that it will randomly turn on 1 through 3 different enemies at a time. But in the meantime, enemy turn damage. I think we want to make it so that we go for right now, because I don't have all the stats stuff set up. Let's do it one at a time. So we're gonna make, I don't know, targeted enemy equals no one at the moment. Then we have player attack function damage, but we're gonna add target into here, which then means I have to place it here. So targeted enemy equals target, right? Enemy's turn 1, alarm is 40, object battle player good, so that's okay. We're doing check for end, but I think we're gonna need to add a couple things into it. Right now, it's ending if the enemy's HP gets below 0 or hits 0, right? And if the player's HP gets to 0. That's what these, so it's if return if the enemy's HP is 0 or there. But we don't want it to do that because we want all We want three, like it to go through all the enemies. Right now, what this is saying, if you defeat one of the enemies, you're immediately going to move back and out of the attack. But that's not really like what we want, right? If any enemy alive, I think we're going to say false. Do I want this? If enemy is false, if we do a with statement and say maybe object like battle enemy, and then in there, if data.hp is greater than 0 and any enemy alive is equal to true, and then the return is outside of that little with statement. Does that make sense? Right. So I'm tripping myself up. We need, all right, the variable. So we're saying any enemy is alive is currently false, but we're saying object with enemy. So battle enemy. Oops. Enemy. But I want this to be a question, so we're going to say, we're making it an if statement, and I want it to be the end part, data.hp, I think higher than 8, no, 0, right? In here, we want if data.hp is greater than 0. I think I want what it any enemy alive equals true. Okay, so we have targeted enemy up here. We've added target here, placed it there. Targeted enemy equals target underscore target, which is the same. Now we're checking for the end of the battle. And if it starts off, we just are telling it any enemy alive equals false with the battle enemy. If any other HPs are greater than 0, then any enemy alives is equal to true. And welcome in, Fuzzy. How are you doing today? I've been seeing your posts. You have been busy. You've been busy with your game. Just saying. I like your stuff, so. It's going well, right? All right. Okay, so now I don't think that's gonna, I think it'll just crash. All right, let's get to an enemy. Oh, I gotta fix your names now. All right, we're in. If I do 1, all right, they're still all taking damage at the same time, and the player's only taking 1 point of damage right now. What we're doing is we're making it so that, because I don't have stats set up, which I probably really should need to get working on, but it's going to go player to set it up. So currently, so it's player to enemy 1, then it'll be enemy 2, then it's going to be enemy 3, and then back to the player. Grog, welcome in. How you doing? Currently working on well, I'm fumbling my way through it, but I'm working on trying to get the turn stuff down a little bit. Really good article for how to handle stats. Excellent, because let's take a look at it. How to make an RPG stats. Perfect. I haven't even started really trying to figure that out, and I'm definitely going to need to work on it. Okay. So we'll say keep that. The code isn't GML. That's, I mean, I think, I'm pretty sure, I mean, like, even though if it has some stuff, I can kind of figure out how to make it or what I want in GML. It may not work for a while, but I'll get the basic of the structure down. Yeah, a constructor. Yeah. All right, so we've been identifying if the enemy is if anybody's alive, like the enemies, right? So we're gonna start trying to switch between them. Where do I want that? Let me put that up there. In Battle Manager, I've started trying to identify if they're alive, because before I just had check for end, right? And it was only this. So it was basically if it would return if an enemy was less than 0, or if the player was less than 0. So if either one of those conditions was true, then it returned and sent you back to the regular overworld, right? Not in the battle room. But that's now only going to happen after we identify if the enemy is alive. Does that make sense? If any enemy is alive, false. But then it's true if the HP is above 0. It may not, but okay. So inside alarm 0. What are we doing here? We have our enemy HP data minus or equal to the damage of the enemy. We're checking for end. We go to alarm 1. That's where player takes damage. So this is kind of like the switch back and forth, right? Also, I see ads are going to go off in, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. This has been definitely a coffee morning. Did not sleep real well. It's been a crazy week, and I'm going to take a break here in just a few, grab some more coffee. So if anybody else needs some coffee, now would be a great time to go do that, because coffee is life. All right. What if... I feel like I need to do if instance exists, like some sort of like target thing, and then say like target enemy. Check for end should be okay. Because I want individual targets now and not make them all the same target. Yeah. Anyways, like I said, ads are about to go off. I'm going to go ahead and be right back on this one. What time is it? Just about 8. Yeah. Definitely need more coffee this morning, right? So, I will see everybody in a few moments. Hang tight, and I will be right back. Okay, we're back. I know, Sophie. You just have to wait. It's like a little, I don't know, landmine field behind me. She's got all her stuffed toys out. Yeah. Put them away. She goes and gets them. All right. So, what I think... I think I want to say, like, I feel like Target, like, instance exists. And then maybe targeted enemy. Something like that. But it needs to be an if statement. Because I'm asking a question. Right. So, Pinooch, welcome in. Good morning. And thank you for the Sophie treat. She has been patiently waiting for somebody this morning. There she goes. And you can see behind me, it looks like you can sort of see the dog stuff, right? So she's got like 3 little stuffed animals out. This morning, she's just been going and picking them all up and bringing them to where her bed area is. Yes. I hope you're doing well, Pinooch. Pinooch, do you like playing action RPG games? Because if you do, there's a couple I think you would like. All right. Well, one I think you've already seen is Solo Leveling. Jeepin's been playing it. The anime one that follows the anime of Solo Leveling. It's a lot of fun. I think you would enjoy that. The other one, the main thing, right, is Soulframe. And if you want to see, here, I can put a little bit of a YouTube here for it. Right? So it's called Soulframe. It's made by the same people that made Warframe. So it's got some of the same mechanics that are in it. But it's very much a fantasy action RPG. It's currently in like alpha, but you can get in. I've been a part of it for a little while now. Not, even though I sound like I'm pushing it, I'm not sponsored or anything by them. I just really like the game and the direction that it's moving. But at the bottom of this, you can request access to it if it's something you like. If it is, I could probably also see about getting you a code or something, Pinooch. But it's pretty good, right? And eventually you do have a mount. A couple of different classes, lots of weapons. It's in alpha. It's much better than it was like a year ago, where like almost a year ago now, the voices of all the NPCs and everything were all the development team. So the voice acting was not very good. Now it's all professional stuff, so it's really good. Yeah, it's just another. It's a good action RPG that I really am enjoying the direction that it's going. All right, back to this. So, all right, let's make this into my question. If instance exists, we're going to put that in here. And we're saying target enemy, and because we said targeted enemy up here, right? And then we say targeted enemies are target. And now we're going to use that. But we need... I think I need it to be targeted. No, targeted enemy. I want the data, probably the HP. How am I doing this? If instance exists, targeted enemy. So your target. If target HP is equal damage to enemy. I don't think that makes sense. What am I missing? Targeted enemy. Maybe minus or equal. Okay. Now I got my question. If instance exists, targeted enemy. Right. But now, what else do I need to do? I want to pick. How do we want to do this? If I want to go in a circle on picking enemies on to attack, then we probably want to do it after this alarm. All right, so check. We're checking for end here. Here. Right? Well, all right. So I'm saying we're checking alive. But it's different than any enemy alive. Or is it? Alive. Enemy. It's almost... I think it's going to be kind of similar. Right? To this. I guess we could try to put a live enemy, like whoever is alive, into an array. That might work. but then what? Thank you for the follow. If we have an alive enemy, we need to determine which one, right? If I just say, like, with object, battle, enemy, I think we're just going to pick a random one, and I don't want that. But I want it to be battle enemy, so how do I determine the attack sequence? Right, so if you look at the game... Oh, I could have made that a little smaller. We have the player on the left here, right? And then I don't want it to be with a random enemy. I think I kind of really want it to go... left, right, like top to bottom. Or do we want the player to be able to pick which one they go first? And stinkiness. Good morning, homeless. Did your fart propel you over here? Sophie treat. She'll be happy. New house came in. Morning term. There you are. All right. Good morning. Yes, you were gas powered. I know. I've identified that, and that's okay. It's all right. Right. So currently we're trying to figure out the best way to do an attack, like to how do like our attack sequence of it. You're a four-stroke engine. Excellent. Got my gas mask ready. I do. It's over here on the shelf still. It's down here just in case. It gets a little stinky sometimes, but we can work through it. Filters are is getting a little rough with it, but you know. Dog farts. Those are rough. You almost don't live through those ones. All right. So, right here, like, I don't want it to make it so that it's random, like which it just picks one. Oh, they think our farts are worse because of their nose. I'm sure, right? They have such a strong nose that they're probably like, oh. Plus all the dogs for putting up with this. Yes. And you agree dog farts are usually worse, but I have a stomach full of French onion dip. So you might have the dog farts beat. Was that a midnight French onion, or has it been like stewing in there from like last night? Hopefully not for breakfast, because no. All right. I'm still trying to debate. Oh. I also just noticed, looking at my stream, the turkey is still sitting on my little computer here. So we can turn off the little turkey. Speaking of turkey, for anybody that's in the States, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. It's always a good time, right? Good food. midnight yesterday, the day before. It's been stewing and brewing. Oh. Yeah, those are the ones with like the cloud after it, homeless. Dangerous, dangerous. All right. How do we identify the enemies? Battle enemy. If I just say battle enemy, that's going to pick them all, isn't it? I almost need like some sort of for loop, maybe. No, I mean, like, we're going to repeat this, so maybe not. Wow, what about the people not in the States? You just left them out. That's racist. It's a state thing, right? I'm sure, everybody else has different holidays, homeless. We can't all have the same holiday. It doesn't work that way. It was pretty cool. Like the reservations here do a lot for Thanksgiving. They have like there's events. They put on dances and everything else that you can go to, which is pretty neat. You know, they open up. They have a section of like different reservations that are open to the public, and you can go there, and that's where they have performances and do things and sell all their handcrafted items and stuff. It's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, didn't make it this year to one of those, but they're neat. All right. Let me write this out, plain writing, so I can get an idea of what I'm trying to do here, right? What I want is here, enemy lives. I want a list of enemies still alive, right? That's kind of what we're saying. Then I want to do with battle enemy. So I want to say like if I don't know, HP is still greater than 0, I want to update the array of enemies. Right, so we're going to say update array with that. Yes. That's kind of what I want, right? So if we're going to update an array, let's push. All right, let's start adding some structure into this because I think this is correct. Right. So we're going to say if HP is greater than 0, but we want this inside it, right? And if we're updating an array, that's a push. array push. And we want a live enemy here. All right. I think that's it for that one. Two arguments. A live enemy. Oh, wait. I don't know which one it is still. So, does that make sense? I want the ID of the enemy to be updated in the array. And this is not correct because I used data.hp. Data.hp. All right. Now, I think I need to check that a live enemy array somehow. Am I checking maybe the length of it? Array length. Right? And we're going to say we're checking our alive enemy one. All right. Does all this make sense? Unless, does this make sense? I don't know if you're still there, but let's think here. I'm trying to structure it so that I can roll through the different enemies, right? So on the screen, there's 3 skeletons. Go from top one, bottom one, or top, middle, bottom. And I'm putting those enemies into an array, right? Because the array, if they're in there, they are alive. So now, that's what this is kind of doing. We're pushing the enemy that is alive with its ID, because a unique ID to it, into this array. And I kind of want, if I want one at a time, I want something like attacking enemies to be the alive enemies, right? Does that kind of make sense? Does the flow of it make sense? It's going to be. I'm trying to make that. Yeah, Grog. I think the idea is I'm trying now to get it so that it will have independent enemies, right? Because right now, if you attack... Here, let's bring this up a little bit. So if I attack, it attacks all 3 at the same time because they're considered the same one. They're not separate. And I want to put them all into an array so that I can be able to validate which ones are alive, which ones aren't, and continue down the line for their attacking. and I'm trying to work through it for the first time, so it's a little shaky with it. But I think, I don't know what I think. You should remove the variable on line 18, otherwise it won't exist next frame. So remove the array. Right? This, what I'm calling a list of, remove the var off of it. Oh, because var, that makes it temporary. Var is temporary variable. Yes. Okay. All right, so now we have a live enemy as an array. We're saying with battle enemy, if their HP is still above 0, we update the array. So I did array push, a live enemy, and the unique ID of that enemy. The underscore is only for, there we go. Right? Other dot alive enemy. That will not work otherwise. Welcome in, Frank. How you doing? So where are you suggesting other dot enemy? Other alive dot enemy. Inside the with statement. So this one here. Why do you feel like, why would it not work? So you're saying this, right? Why do you feel like that won't work? Help me understand it. It needs the other if it's not a like a var. Okay. So placing other in front of it, we're saying the other, like we're identifying other enemies, right? Otherwise it's all the same one. Gotcha. Okay. So we have array push other dot alive enemy. Other will return to the original scope. Gotcha. And then here, I had it in my head that I want to check the length of the array to identify the enemies left that are still attacking. I don't know if that's correct at all. But my idea was array length alive enemy. That should really be a question. So that's my if statement. If array length and alive is enemy, so we're checking if you're alive, right? Then what? Well, then I want attacking enemies to be alive. So if I have attacking enemies, no, I don't. Let me make sure that's right. If I want let me get rid of that. If I'm checking the array for the enemies that are still there, I want attacking enemies to be the alive enemy. So maybe I can just make a new one. Like I was going to, like I was, because it's not already in existence. Array length returns a number, not a Boolean. So if it's a number, do I want it like greater than like 0 so that there is something there? If you want to iterate over the array, you should use a for loop, because 0 equals false, and anything greater than 1 is true. Anything greater than 1. So I was originally going to say if it's greater than 0, but if it needs to be greater than 1 to be true, that would still work though, right? Because if it's 1, that would be true. There's something there, right? If we're saying it's 0, it's not there. Okay. So, all right. If array length alive, my intention, well, so to reiterate kind of like what I'm trying to do, up in the top right hand corner, you can see the enemies, right? So I'm trying to make it so that we're rotating through each one in a turn-based style attack system. With that, I'm attempting to identify if they are alive, and if they are, then they're attacking to be the alive enemy. Attacking enemies like is the alive enemy, right? So this, it returns a number. So we wanted it higher. Like you said, this returns a number. It's not Boolean. So this needs to be above 0 to produce a true statement. And I don't have attacking enemies as a variable anywhere in here. So I could probably just make it. Right? Yeah, that's what I'm trying to remember. Like, you can try thinking in functions to make your life easier. Remember what we did in, yes, if it's a function. So, all right, if we're eliminating this, because we're saying it here, right? We want this to be the alive enemy. To be, I can just make it like an equal, right? So variable attacking enemies. Let me write it out, and then we'll figure out a better way to write it. Variable attacking enemies to be, which is now equals, I think, just alive enemies. Alive enemies. What did I put it? Yeah, alive. Oh, alive enemy. think that should work, right? Does that make sense? Because then I want to activate the alarm again. Because in my head, we're going one by one, right? So if the first one is alive, it's attacking. Then I want to delay then I want a delay with the alarm again. Let me write it. We'll find a better way to write it. And we're going to repeat this alarm. So we're going to, I don't know, 20. That's 20 frames. How about we make it to 2 seconds? There. Right? All right. This is not, I don't think this is correct at all. I'm thinking the array identifies there's an enemy left in the array, right? That's where we're saying if it's above 0. Then that enemy attacks. So attacking enemy is equal to the alive enemy. After that, we don't have that in front of it. There. So after that, it waits 2 seconds. It's probably too short of a time. Let's say 3, right? But alarm resets. So now it goes back up here and then goes to the next one. Does that make sense? So, is this better as a function? And if so, or is it okay the way it is? And does that make sense? Does it just reset? And is this going to go in order of them? Well, I jumbled it together. So, in my head, the way I'm thinking it is this. We are checking the array. If the array is greater than 1. No. If array length is greater than 0, meaning the array has an item in it, or in this case, it has an enemy still in the array. That means that enemy is alive. If array length greater than 0, it means we have an alive enemy. Yes. Then I'm saying the alive enemy is the attacking enemy. Yeah, make this into a function. All right. What if there are 30 enemies? Then it would almost be more of a for loop, checking through it. Well, I want it to go in order, and I just don't know how to do that yet. My other thing is, I would like it to be randomized, but for whenever you go into the battle, it's going to be randomized on whether it's 1 to 3 enemies. But let's do the functions stuff first, right? Oops. It is shit. Now I don't remember which way I'm writing it. Hold on. One way is global, one way is this. I feel like is the global way. Do I have that here? No, I don't have one in here. I feel like that's the global. And the other one is enemies are alive equals function. Why am I not remembering this? I mean, I'm not surprised, but like, I'm not remembering it. So, oh, okay. All right. So the top one, I was correct. The top one is a global function, and the bottom one is kind of like a localized function. For this, I guess it would be okay to be localized. Who's all using it? Probably just this. Do you agree? You think local is the right call here? This is a function of the battle manager. Yes. And I was trying to remember, like, think about who's all, like, what other objects are going to be using it, and I don't think anything except for the battle manager. All right. So now, almost Arwen wants a blueberry. You can hear her asking yes. She actually just probably wants uncovered. But it's only like 8:45. So we'll wait until the next break here in about 15 minutes, and then I'll uncover her. And that'll make her happy. All right. So enemies are alive is now essentially an empty function, right? Maybe this whole thing could this all go inside it. So now enemies are alive. I feel like next would be doing the attacking, right? Because if they're alive, they're attacking. Oh, wait, no. I need to say enemies are alive. I need to do the array part. That function only answers that question. I can either say return true. Enemies are alive, true. Or I can say enemies are alive because the array length of alive enemies is greater than 0. That function, yeah, only answers that question. It needs to return the answer to enemies are alive. Bingo. All right. I think I said two things. So I'll write them both out. We could either say, I think it was either like return, like true, right? Or we can do which doesn't really answer anything. We don't know why it's true. So it's going to be the other one. Because we want array length of it covers up everything I want to see. All right. Alive enemy. And we are greater than 0. So now enemies are alive if the array length of a live enemy is greater than 0. So if it's 1, it now has 1 item in the array, therefore enemies are alive. You go, not true, the second one. Return true means that it's always true. Gotcha. Right? So now here I can just say if enemies are alive, like that. So it's still, it needs to return this. There we go. Without a return value, functions return undefined. Gotcha. Okay. So now, let's walk through the next part. Now, if enemies are alive, this is the function we're calling. Then we are saying, so if that's essentially becomes true, like it's returning that there is something there, then we say attacking enemies is equal to an alive enemy, because we know there's an alive enemy. And then I was putting it into an alarm to reset this alarm and start over for the next one. Does that make sense? Yeah, alive enemies is the array, right? So any enemy that's still left in the array is an attacking enemy. Right. Okay. Now, I don't think there's anything else. No, I'm sure there's probably something else. But we have, if with the battle enemies, so we're identifying all the battle enemies. If their HP, right, is over 0 or is greater than 0, then they get put into an array. And now we identify enemies are alive by that array. And now we determine the attacking enemies are the ones that are still in the array. And if there's none in, the enemy is there, it'll continue on instead of remove. Like if you defeat one of them, there's still enemies in the array, so it'll continue through the sequences and then repeat itself. Okay. Is this going to repeat endlessly, or is it going to go through loop through once and let the player have its turn? Or is it just going to keep repeating through all the enemies? I don't think I have. I don't think I have any way to determine right now if it's only once. Well, easiest way to figure this out is we're going to stop it, then we're going to start it and see where or what's going on with it, because sometimes I have to visualize it more than just seeing the code. All right. Let me wait for it to show up. And let's look at the code. Let's battle. There we go. As we go through this, right? All right, so I'm going to go down. We're going to touch this enemy. We're going to go see if it takes us into the attack. And it did. Now we are going to do a light attack. And it still is. All right. Oh, okay. It did answer my question, though. There is no stopping to allow the player to go. It's just repeating that feature, like those enemies attacking. Right? So I need to put that into maybe a for loop. I think this whole thing needs to be identified as a one-time run. Player runs, then it initiates again somehow. But I don't think it's not a for loop, because a for loop's just going to keep repeating, which it already seems to be doing, right? It's repeating itself because my alarm here. Want to quick chat through the game plan? Sure. Turn off some music here. Get my Discord. All right. Hey, Grog.
Hello, hello.
So,
Discord's being weird. Give me 1 sec to change the audio.
okay. And let me get the screen up here. All right.
Okay. Here now.
I've identified that it's looping, right?
Right. Yeah.
Also, our timing is impeccable with ads. Ads are about to go off in about a minute. And for this ad break, I do need to take a quick be right back to be able to uncover Arwen. But it actually just squawks at me. So, welcome in, Hamster. How you doing today? I think when we get back from ads, I've identified that we're looping. And why? It's because I said alarm repeats. Nothing in here is really saying, hey, the player should take a turn.
Yeah, and I have an idea for that. There's something that it's like battle systems are like kind of like spooky seeming, but Actually, the first time I learned battle systems, Pope was actually teaching me on stream as well when we made a little RPG project, and he explained it in a way that was really. It made RPGs seem a lot more simple in a way because they can be as simple or as complicated as you need to. So we can touch on that once you're back from
Okay.
the break.
All right, then I'm gonna go ahead. Ads are about to go off. I'm gonna take a quick video right back because I need one more coffee. I am going through it like crazy today, and uncover Arwen, and then we'll get to it. So hang tight for a couple of moments, and I'll be right back.
Mission parameters. Eliminate all opposition.
All right. There we go. I'm back. Let me get caught up on chat real quick here. I think I saw Hamster. Yeah, you're working on a shop system. That's cool. Hey, I have the basic of a shop down for this game. All right. Whenever you are ready, Grog, if you're there.
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Oh, I haven't checked out I don't know that Jobo dialogue system.
Jobo dialogue system.
If you haven't,
I don't have
I'm looking at that
a
one too.
dialogue
If I
system.
ever do dialogue, I plan on using Chatterbox by Juju. It seems pretty good as well. Comes with there's like an editor for it, like a graph style editor, which seems really cool.
Yeah, there
haven't
there
checked
was
that
a
one out
couple
too.
things that I've done, and it's all just in here. It's not using anything else, but it is a just like dialogue that I'm manually putting in. It's a little annoying that way, but that's all right. All right. So what we're trying to do is make it so that we are rotating through enemies. And right before break, I ran the game, which it was running, and you could see that it goes all enemies attack at once, but then it repeats because of my alarm 0 here.
Right.
It's repeating and all the enemies attack again. So the player is not taking a turn at this moment. Like you
Gotcha.
initiate the
Does
attack
he take a turn at
sequence.
the start? However, does he have his first turn?
I think it got one turn. Let me
Yeah, he
let's
gets one
double
turn,
check
and
it.
then the enemy's infinite loop. Yeah.
So we go in, everything's fine until the player takes its first attack. It attacks all 3 enemies at once, and now the enemies are all attacking. Wait, what's going on? Oh, everything's attacking. That's weird. All right.
Okay. But still, yeah, the player doesn't get a turn back though.
Well, it's acting like it's auto doing the player.
Oh, I see. Interesting.
So let me wait for it to come back up on stream there. Oh, wait, am I showing it to you or just the code?
I'm watching it on the Twitch stream, which is
Okay.
fine. It's easier for me to see GameMaker this way, so I wouldn't worry about sharing that.
So
too.
when I attack, it deals damage. Now the enemies are attacking, but you'll see the player is essentially doing damage. Like the health bar on the enemies is going down.
Right. Yeah. It's looping. Okay.
So it's
Okay,
looping
well, let's
and
take a look at this
including the
object
player
just so I
attacks,
can
which is weird.
get
But
an idea of what's happening here. What's happening in the create event of this object?
I have this.
Okay, so we have player attack. Okay, we have. I like that you have functions in here. That's great. We have enemy turn. We have damage to enemy. We have targeted enemy equals no one.
Yeah. At the beginning of stream, I added targeted enemy. I placed target inside the player attack.
Okay. So I have a couple ideas for how we can clean this up here.
Okay.
And make this easier. First things first, though, what is this? What is the alarm 0 doing? I like that you have a description for alarm 1, and I think you should have them from alarm 0 and 1.
Yeah, the other they're not actually. So alarm 0 is identifying or should be the enemy's turn to attack.
Gotcha. Okay.
Should.
So I think the way you're doing it with like having the different enemies in their turn, like having like kind of separated turns and whatever, is fine. But okay, so let me explain the way how I would do a battle system, how I do it in Desuku Pet, and the way that Pope told me, and the way I think that makes the most sense here is when you think of like a battle manager, it almost doesn't need to know. In fact, it doesn't need to know anything really about the specifics of anything's turn, right? The battle manager shouldn't care about what the enemies are doing. It shouldn't care about what the player is doing.
Okay.
To me, all a battle manager is doing is it's deciding whose turn it is and then passing the turn baton to that thing. And then that thing can do the turn baton thing, its own turn, and then it passes the torch back.
Okay.
And what's cool about that is you can make it so that, you could have like one enemy's turn behave like Undertale and be a bullet hell, and then you can have another enemy that like plays like Final Fantasy VII. You could have another enemy that's like a turn-based action system. They can all have their own unique turns because it's up to them to handle their own turns. They have the baton, they handle that. Because what the reason why that makes sense is then you just have an array of battle participants, and you just loop through the array of battle participants, and you say, oh, okay, well, the first turn is the player, okay, and then the second person in the array, okay, well, that's an enemy, they go next, and then the third person's turn, you just kind of keep looping through the array. You don't treat the player any different than the enemy. Does that sort of make sense?
Say that last part again. You don't treat the player
So you don't treat you don't handle the player's turn and the
an
enemy's
enemy's turn.
turn separately. They're all in the same. Let's just here. Let me, if you want, I can just kind of walk you through the very basics of what that looks like.
So right now, I think I understand the just the gist of it, right? So
Yep.
in battle enemy, I'm not really covering much in here except for the movement of it. That's kind of what this is doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. It goes and handles its turn and its animation and
Right.
stuff.
It's just
So
when
think of
it
this way,
attacks,
right?
like
This
it
object-
offsets itself, and that's kind of the
Yeah.
only thing inside the battle enemy that's there.
And I think this makes sense, right? The enemy is handling its animation.
Right.
Why doesn't the enemy also handle its attack as well?
And the player's
Just think
kind
of
of
it this
doing
way,
the same.
Exactly, right? So you could kind of make them behave very similarly, where the battle manager just says, "Hey, take your turn," and then it goes, "La la 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 la. I don't care what you do. Just do your turn. Let me
Right.
know when you're finished." So let's mock that up really quick, just so we don't mess with this object. Let's make a new object. Let's call it Battle Manager 2. And you'll probably port some of the stuff over from Battle Manager.
Okay.
You can port either way. I don't care which way you do it, but I just want to start a clean slate just so we can kind of get a rough idea.
All right.
Okay, and let's give ourselves a crate, a step, and maybe an alarm, I guess. I love how quick that is to do in Code Editor.
I like it.
I love that.
Right up here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You can also, and for a while, I didn't realize it was here. So you could still come over here and do it on the side. But once I realized this was here, it's so nice and easy to do.
Yeah, I still use the left. Maybe I should start using that one up there too. Oh, where do I might even have mine in. I might even have mine hidden. No, I have it at the bottom. Okay, yeah. No, that works too. Yeah, I guess so. Okay, cool. Okay, so here's what I would do. Okay, so this object is going to get created probably in the battle scene, right? And the battle scene is going to have a bunch of objects in it that are like battle entities, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's make a on line 2 of the create event. Let's create a variable called participants. It's not going to be a local. It's going to be a instance variable. So we'll call it participants. And if it's a bit of a pain to type, we can come up with a different name for it. But for now, let's just make this equal to an array.
Participants.
I think that's right. I have to type it out.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think you got
Google.
it right. Yep, that's right.
Okay. It looks like. Oh wait, no. Yeah, participants.
You could call it combatants, battle entities.
It's fine. I was just stuck on the spelling.
Sure, but you know what I mean. Like it can be whatever makes the most sense to you. Like I said, combatants works, battle entities. Basically, the way I think of it, this is participants in your battle.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's make that an array.
Okay, so we're making it just an array.
Just an empty array. Yep. And what you can do now is below that, let's do width. And right now you probably don't have a parent for these things, I imagine yet. But what's your player enemy called? Or do you have a battle parent?
No, I do not.
Okay.
So
sure, let's just
like...
do it right. Let's make a battle parent object. We can call it obj or parent battler or parent or obj battle parent, whatever you want to call it.
Parent battle. We'll just call it that.
I'd call it battler. It is a battler is a weird word, but whatever. You can change it later. Once again, we're not going to get too bogged down by naming convention.
Okay.
I recently learned this is called bike shedding. It's where you have a big complex system.
Okay.
And instead of actually working on the big complex system, you're busy arguing over what color the bike sheds should be.
I
got
gotcha.
You need to build a big fancy new office building, but what color should the bike shed be? Okay, yep, exactly. So with Battler, what we're gonna do here is put the code block, the braces.
Okay.
And inside here we're gonna do array push.
New push. There we are.
and we're going to do other dot participants. Once again, we've changed the scope outside of the battle manager, so we have to go back to get participants.
Okay.
And we're going to just push ID, so comma ID after participants. We're going to push this battler's instance is ID to the participants. So okay, so think of it this way, right? You create this at the start of the room inside your battle room, and in
Right.
the battle room you already have a bunch of like enemies and players in there, right?
Yeah, let me double. All right, so we have battle switcher, which is just moving people to the room. Once.
Okay, so we go into the room battle. Let's middle mouse click on room battle.
Oops. Yeah, so once we're in here, it doesn't middle click.
Oh, what? Why? Yeah, it's not color coded. That's weird. Actually, it should open it, but you can. Open
I'm
it
having a lot of
normally.
weird GameMaker issues,
Yeah.
including like if I make a sprite, the image is not showing up over here. It's not showing up over here until I either duplicate it or close the game and come back in, and then it shows up. But it's there. So like if I put it in game, it's visible. So as an example of that, like in battle here, I don't know, we'll make a sprite. We'll just leave it like that. We'll edit this and make it like bright red circle. Right? Oh, of course, now it's doing it. All right, never mind. Yesterday, like the other days, like when I was doing stuff for making more NPCs and doing, it just wasn't showing up. I did clear the cache this morning, so that maybe that helped.
Yeah, that could help. Yeah.
All right. Anyways.
Okay, let's go into the battle room real quick. I just want to see what it looks like in there.
So there.
Okay, so yeah, you're manually placing the enemies. That's fair. And then you have the player and okay.
This is the battle manager that's in here. Up here.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that makes sense. We'd put the battle manager 2 in there for we don't have to put it in there for now until we know what we're doing. But think of it this way, right? If battle manager 2 is in here at the start of the room, it's going to check through all these battlers. And it's going to add the player on the left to the list, and it's going to add the skeleton to the list. It's going to add the second and the third skeleton to the list, right?
Yeah, and I haven't done it yet, but I want to make it so that it's a random value between 1 and 3. So sometimes, so it's not always the same thing, right? So when you counter an enemy, sometimes it's 1, sometimes it'll bring you in and there's 3.
So here's a recommendation if you wanna look into a fun add-on. I know you've talked about it or we've talked about it before, but Gleb's GM Room Loader is really good for this.
Yes.
Because what you would do is you would have one battle room, and then you'd have a bunch of rooms that are just enemy configurations. And then what you do is when you start a battle is you pick a room to load in that enemy configuration. So you can load in, it's the same room. It's always this battle room, but you're essentially just loading room data of enemies. You're loading in, oh, this is the 3 skeleton room. This is the 2 skeleton room. This is the 1 skeleton and a boss. You could load in 3 different rooms. Load in this skeleton room here, and then the boss room here, and combine patterns together.
Yeah,
so basically what you'd be doing is you'd be using GM rooms as just a visual database to lay out enemy patterns.
Okay. That
and you load them in.
Sounds like exactly sort of what I want with that.
Yeah, and it's really cool because actually this is one of the systems I was most proud of I ever did. It was for my Brew Breaker game where I had to come up with different brick patterns. I essentially just made a bunch of rooms, I made a bunch of layers in a room, looped through that room's layers, and just added them to a database. And then I sort of did the same thing with an RPG project. And then I eventually met Gleb, who had this library, and I'm like, wow, this completely invalidates all that stuff I did. I'm just going to use that from now on.
Yeah, but making it so that it because it randomizes your battles, and you're having it already sort of set to the different rooms, and it just loads it into this one, like the pattern of the enemies would be really useful. Yeah, And welcome
Exactly.
in,
It's,
Celio.
it's really nice because, like, for this, randomizing the number of skeletons, that's totally fine.
Sure.
But as you start to get bigger and bigger, like if this is the game you decide that you want to make and you want to get it fully released or something beyond the 3 months, then you want to start thinking about ways to make your life not miserable when you start to need to make 100 different patterns, right?
Celio's, Celio is saying your mic is. By the way, that's Grogdev that is on the
Can they
mic.
even not hear me?
No, they can hear you. It's spiking a little bit, so there was a little bit of garbled at one point. It came across on.
My mic is spiking. Not
Yeah.
okay. I see. Let me push it back a little bit.
We always have
Let me know if
sometimes have a
there's
little bit of
any way I can improve.
Discord issues.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Yeah, chat. Let me know if there's any issues. I can move my mic closer or further.
yeah.
Also, yeah. Hello, Celio.
And Brent,
hello, Brent.
welcome in. How was the rest of your stream?
Okay, but
All right.
does that make sense? Kind of the premise, though, what we're going for here, though. We
Yes.
have a room with battle entities, and what we're gonna do is just right off the jump is we're gonna add all of those entities to a list.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
All right. So
Yeah. Let's go back. Let's go back to our battle manager 2.
Battler code. Here we are.
Battler doesn't really need to do, or this is our battle manager 2. Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is basically adding any battler in the scene to our participant list. So now we know which, like, we know how many combatants we have in the battle. We know who's participating in the fight, right?
Right.
And what you want to do is you basically can just assume that position 0 is the person, how do I say it? Is the person fighting? Is the current
Right.
is the person taking their turn, essentially. So let's try to make this really simple, I guess. Let's set alarm 0 just in the create event. Let's set alarm 0 to equal 1 second.
Okay.
And this you can probably clean this up later, but we're just gonna get something simple working.
Sure.
In alarm 0, we're gonna put the description as current participant takes their turn.
Okay.
No, current. It's specifically the current participant.
Oh, current.
Because we want, it's not all the participants. It's the current one. It's whoever's turn it is. They take their turn now.
Right.
So I get rid of the S on participant just to make it really clear.
Okay.
And it might sound a little pedantic, but these sort of things do matter in terms of coming up with the logic of it, because it does. There's 2 different logics essentially. Okay, so let's do this. Let's do var underscore.
All right.
Current participant.
Kurt. Okay.
Equals participants 0.
Participants.
Oh, you guys haven't checked each other out yet. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so participants 0, brackets, square brackets 0 to access the array.
Okay.
So we're essentially grabbing the first person in the participants list, and we're saying, hey, it's your turn now, right? That's kind of the idea.
Yep. Okay.
So
Yeah,
what
that
we
makes
could then-
sense.
Okay.
Real quick, just in chat.
Sure.
Yeah. Hamster Brent is another GameMaker dev streamer, and Teal. Yes, there's lots of GameMaker people that hang out that are both devs and streamers. Like to come in here, and it's sort of a really like close like community that helps support each other.
There's dozens of us.
Yes, there is, and I feel like the list is growing. Like the number of devs that are streaming now for GameMaker seems to be growing a little bit more. I feel like I run across more now than I was.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's cool. Always cool discovering new one.
Yeah. All right. So
Okay, so I'm gonna I want to just try to get this to a very simple state because, like I said, at its core, an RPG battle system
right.
is essentially just like passing off turns. Hey, you take your turn, do whatever you want, pass the turn back to me, and then I'll pass it back to somebody else. And from there, you can make it as complex as you want and get really fancy. But that at its core is what we want to do here.
Right.
So let's say okay, let's do this. Below this, add a new line,
Okay.
and let's do okay, let's do current participant
Right.
dot start turn.
Okay.
And that's going to be a function. So call that function. Like just brackets. We're gonna call it. Doesn't
Yep.
exist yet. You haven't made a battler have that function yet. So actually, yeah, just to make it make sense, let's go do that. Let's go into our battler. You can middle mouse click on pair battler at the top there, and it should take us right into it.
Nope.
Is that just not working for you, huh? Weird.
No,
Okay.
it's totally that middle. Most of it will, like this did, but
Yeah, that's got to be a bug
some
with this version of
reason
VM.
it drops the connection in color coding with certain things. It
Yeah, you
still
can see the
works as
color
a
coding is
code,
broken.
but like
Which is funny because in the I'm a version behind you still. 'Cause I'm not updating till they fix some things. They the color coding will break, but middle mouse clicking will still work even if it's broken.
this
But
new
anyways, let's just
version has
jump into the
reset my
battler.
GameMaker now twice.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden I'll log in, like it'll be fine. It did it earlier in the week. Like I'll log in and all my settings are gone, and it acts like I just got a brand new GameMaker.
Oh yeah, that's a bug with this version is it logs you out more frequently, and if you're not logged in, you don't have your settings.
Right. And then all of a sudden you go in and it loses it all. So like all my color coordination, and it resets all these things to alphabetical order instead of where I had them. And I lose like code editor 2 and I'm back to the normal. And I'm like, oh, you got to redo all this stuff. Fun stuff, right?
Right.
All right. So
Okay. So yeah, let's go into the battler and give it a create event. It didn't have one before. We're gonna give it one now.
right.
And it's gonna probably just need one. Let's do. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Let's do start turn equals function.
Okay.
And let's just do this is the default function. You're gonna be overriding this for child objects because every object is gonna handle their own turns in their own different way. Or maybe not. Maybe you end up designing it in a way where all the turns are very simple. But actually, no, that's not true because the player handles their turn different from enemies, right? Player has choices. They have to press buttons. They have to select targets. Enemies don't have to do that. They just go. So for our default start turn, let's just do show debug message. For this, we're gonna do just put actually don't put a string here. We're gonna just put a variable in for now.
Okay.
Let's do object get name. And then that's a function. And then inside there, you can you can type object index.
Index. Okay.
And what you could do, you could eventually make this string fancier to show that shows, hey, current turn object index with this ID is taking their turn or whatever. But for now, just this is it. This is what start turn is going to look like. We're going to add end turn in here as well. So let's just make a new function called end turn.
Okay.
And that's going to equal function.
Yeah.
And this one's going to be the same for all battlers probably. It's going to say, hey, OBJ Battle Manager 2.
So, okay. Battle Manager 2. Oops.
Yep.
Okay.
To dot turn over. This will be a new function that we're going to have to jump back to the battle manager to define
over
to say our turn is over.
Okay.
Okay, so just to explain what is going to happen basically is when that alarm fires, it's going to tell the battler, the current battler whose turn it is, to start their turn. That object is now going to know that, hey, it's time to take my turn. and it's going to do whatever it needs to do. And whenever that object is finished, it's going to end its turn, which will now tell the battle manager that, hey, that turn is over. Time to pick a new object to take its turn, right?
Right.
So let's go back over to the battle manager too. I won't tell you the middle mouse click. I can see it won't work. And let's make the turn over function.
Okay.
So turn over equals function.
Okay.
Okay. And then this, okay, so what should happen here is, remember, current participant is currently 0. Now that the turn's over, they should be the last participant, right?
Right.
I'm going to have you type something really weird, but it's going to do that for you.
Okay.
We're going to type array push.
All right.
And we're going to push to the participants array.
All right. So just participants array.
Actually, no, I'm not. Actually, I'm not going to have you do something weird. This is right. Just participants here, and then
Okay.
comma, and then I actually don't know what we're going to use yet, so just leave this blank. Put a new line above line 10.
All right.
And we're going to do var underscore participant. What I want to do is I want to remove entry from array, but also I want to know what that entry is. Does anybody know a function like that? You could look through the function list here real quick, but basically I don't know what function I want here, so I'm going to look at it. So
Okay. So you want to identify the participant, and that still looks weird. Am I just spelling that weird? It just
this
looks
is what
weird.
I mean. Where maybe do you want to change that to combatants?
No, it's
Okay.
fine. It's just because I'm stuck on it. But like, so we want to, Brent, we're trying to remove a particular participant out of the array.
So what we want to do is we want to take slot 0 out of the array and then push it back into the end of the array.
So what do we have as far as array?
So I don't think there's a one-stop-fits-all function. I think this is just going to be a 2. Brent, I want to take a value out of position 0.
What does pop do?
Pop is the opposite of push, and it takes the entry out of the end of the array.
Out of the end, though.
It's always the end, exactly. Whereas our current, we need to pop from the beginning, which we could technically make a function that does that, but we're just going to do this. We're going to do this the normal way, I guess. We're going to do, so participant is going to be equal to array get. Or it could even just be, yeah, array get's fine, whatever.
All right. And welcome in, Fish. How's it going? It's nice to see you.
Oh, hi, Fish. Yeah, so we're going to do participants, and then we're going to do 0.
Oops. Okay, so participants and 0. Like
so not the square brackets, it's going to be comma 0.
Oh, comma 0.
Actually, you know what? No, it's fine.
So I got one too many in there. All right.
So now we have what the value is of position 0, the current person whose turn it is, basically. So now we can safely delete that from the array. So on line, do another line after 10.
So Brent was also saying you could just do participants.
Yeah, that's sort of what I was going to say. I don't know why I had to use array get here. Let's change it because you usually do that. So instead of array get, do what Brent said.
Okay.
They're the same thing. It's just one's via a function call and one's via an accessor. And typically you and me and most people use accessors for arrays instead of array get.
Right.
So this is fine. So now that we have a reference to that, what was in there, we can erase it from there. So we can say array delete.
Okay.
Participants and then position 0. Participants, comma 0.
Okay.
So now that the current turn is out of the array, we can push it back into the array. So array push, comma participant. We're going to push that participant back into participants array.
So it takes 3 arguments.
Oh, I hate array delete. You have to tell it how many values to delete. You have to
Yeah.
put comma 1 at the end of it.
Okay.
This function existed before optional arguments existed, so they don't have the ability to default it, or they don't have it coded so that it defaults to 1 and then you can define it.
That's weird. All
It
right.
drives me nuts that you have to put 1 there. Okay, good catch though. And then yeah, the last thing on line 12 after the comma, just put participant back.
So on line 13.
No, after the comma in line 12.
Oh, okay.
Because we need to finish that function. Now that we have the participant to push back into it, we can put underscore participant.
All right.
Okay, and then what we do here is we're going to reset the alarm, because now that a turn is over, we can set the timer between each turn. So let's do alarm 0 equals 1 second again. We'll just have a 1 second turn timer.
Outside
this
of
is going to be
the
in turnover.
inside
This will actually
turnover.
be inside the turnover
Okay.
function. Yeah.
Alarm 0 equals 1 SEC. Got it.
Okay. Let's go over what happens here. Let's go over the flow again to see, just to make sure we've locked it in. Or do you have any questions before I kind of step through the flow here?
No, let's do the step through, and I'm on it.
Cool. So right off the jump, we get a list of all participants in the battle. So that's going to be the player and 3 skeletons in the participants array, right?
Correct.
Then we set our alarm for 1 second to basically start the battle system. So we jump down to alarm 0 because that's going to fire in 1 second. And we're going to say, hey, participant 0, you're the current participant. I want the current participant to take their turn, right? To start their turn.
Correct.
Okay, so then that means we jump into the battler, who is going to do whatever. It's an arbitrary, doesn't matter what they do. They can be whatever you want it to be. But when they're done, you call end turn, which is going to call turn over in the battle manager to let you know that the turn is over. So the battle manager is going to say, hey, push the current participant to the very end of the array, because their turn is going to be like, they're now the last one waiting to take their turn, and then start the timer again to start this whole system over again, right?
Correct.
So that sort of makes sense?
Yes.
So let's do a little test here, because I think this actually is, at its core, this is what an RPG is. This is all an RPG battle system is, a turn-based one, I should say. But let's get it plugged in and working. So let's put this in the room. So let's go into your room battle.
Okay.
And for now, let's just, I guess, get rid of the old one. I think this one will be pretty clean. And once again, I don't think you need to delete the old object, because there's some good stuff in there that you'll probably want to keep.
Yeah.
But this system will work for now. So let's put this in here. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, and then let's make the enemies and the player childs of the battler object.
Okay, so we have object here, parent, battler. Now, easiest way is probably battle enemy. Battler. Okay. So now we have both the player and the battle enemy as children of the battler.
That's great. And Fish asked, when we delete array 0, does the other value shift up, making array 1 now array 0? Exactly.
Yes. And
that's why we make array 0 the current turn, because it's always, if there's a value in that array, it's going to be, that's always going to be the current one. Whereas otherwise we'd have to be calculating the length to get the last person to go. Which is why we do it this way.
Yep.
Okay, so let's now go into the player object, the battle player.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so remember it now has. Oh, actually, it doesn't now have any functions. It needs to inherit the. So if you just go into the create event, by the way, you don't even need to right click. You can even just add a new line. I know you can do it from the plus, but I know sometimes you look at the options and you're not sure which one. Just put a new line above line 2.
Okay.
And you can just type event inherited here.
All right.
And bam, now you've the Battler's create event is
It-
passed through here.
And
now
you're
we
right.
have access to this
Sometimes like I'm looking at like which one to choose.
Yeah, it's like it's override or inherit, and you got to kind of think it through. Whereas
Yeah.
sometimes it just like it just you just want to just event. You want to inherit the event, just type event inherited. Is a pretty nice way of doing it.
Okay.
And exactly, Fish is asking about array push. Yeah, array push always adds a value to the very end, so you don't have to worry about adding it to a specific index. It's like, nah, just shove it to the end. So yeah, we delete it from the first and move it back to the end.
And then pop takes it from the end.
Yeah, exactly. Pop is like the best
Okay.
way to think of it is like it's a Pringle can, right?
Yeah.
Pushing puts it to the top of the Pringle stack, which is the end of the array. Popping, you pop a Pringle out. Push and pop are stack. It's a data type called, I don't know if it's actually a data type. They're called stacks.
Gotcha.
There's an old data type in GameMaker called DS stack. There's like DS list, DS queues, DS stack works like that. You can only add to the end and you can always take from the end. You can't like rifle it. You can't take the bottom Pringle because it's blocked by all the other Pringles.
Gotcha.
So pop and push follow that kind of that format. Okay, so this is the part where it gets a little trickier, right? I said everything's simple, but now you need to make it like, you need to make it okay. We need to make it so that the enemies can take their turn. We just want to do it simple at first. So let me think real quick here, because I think we need one more thing maybe in the Battler. Let's go into the Battler for a sec.
Oops. No.
Okay. Yeah, actually, no, we're here. This is the right spot. This is the right spot.
Oh, I'm
here.
already in it. All right.
Yeah, you're
I
in
was
it.
like
Okay.
trying to find them sometimes when I got so many tabs open.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think the best way to do this.
Probably also the simplest way to make it work without it getting convoluted, because then I'll also forget how we did it sometimes. And then I'll be sitting there like, how's this connect again?
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so I know how to do that. I think I know how to keep this simple. We're gonna just make the start turn handle this directly. So let's do it. The easiest way is to go into the enemy. The enemy is going to be easier to handle than the player, so we're gonna handle the enemy first.
All right.
Okay.
So not parent enemy. We want
the
battle enemy.
Remember, you can also double click on you can just double click on it on the right too, where you can see him easier. Okay, so when it's the enemy's turn, it basically means you're starting the alarm, right?
Correct.
Okay, and how do you know the enemy's done their turn? Would it be when alarm 1 is over? Like what are these two alarms here, 0 and 1?
So right now, like 1 is moving it. Like this is essentially adjusting the image of it, right? So you're moving your X, moving the whole object essentially over. And this return, all this does is return it to its start position.
Oh, okay. So alarm 1. Oh, okay. This is
When we wrote this, we had it. This wasn't. We didn't write this. This came from. I forget the gentleman's name. It was part of GameMaker's RPG tutorial series.
Matharu Gurpreet, right?
Yes, but what it's doing is basically starting the X position moving, and then you run alarm 1. So then it waits a moment for 1 frame essentially, because it's not in seconds here. So it's 1 frame and immediately readjusts the X.
Oh, okay. So wait, so what? So once alarm gets fired, alarm 1. How does it get like? How do we know when it's done all of this?
When it's done all this, so I'm pretty sure that's still in the battle manager. All right, so we have enemy. This is only occurring when it's active. So it attacks, it moves, and it moves itself back. This is drawing. This is only the HP bar. So it moves itself back, but it knows to do it
Okay,
when...
I see how to tell if it's done. Okay, let's go back. Let's go into the alarm 1.
Of which one?
The enemy. The enemy.
Okay.
Alarm 1, we're going to add an else to this.
Hold on one sec. Brent, you got to head out. Good luck with the battle manager, and you'll catch you later. I appreciate you being here, Brent. I know it's late for you. Have a great night. All right. So we're in alarm 1. And I missed.
So yeah, you can add on line 6. You can add an else to this.
Okay. All right.
So this alarm 1 means we're moving back to our starting location.
Correct.
And if our x is less than x start, we got to keep looping until we're back. But if it is equal to x start, then we're done. Our turn's over here, right? So here's where we can call end turn. This is when you should say the enemy has now done their turn. So call the end turn function.
Was it end turn? No, we said turn.
Or yeah, turn over. Or yeah, well, I forgot what it was. Yeah, turn start and turn over.
So turn.
I forget. If you have to check, that's fine.
It's not coming up yet. End turn. And turn. Start turn
okay.
and end turn.
So we call end turn. Yep.
So end turn. Okay.
And then okay. And then let's go to the.
My GameMaker doesn't link things sometimes, so it doesn't see this now.
Weird. Yeah, probably just needs that reboot, the restart.
But that is correct. End turn as a function.
Yep.
And
in the enemy, we're going to need to do one more thing here. We're going to need to go into the create event
of the enemy. So we're in
the enemy. Yep.
Okay.
And we're going to need to define what it does on its turn. So press enter here.
Yep.
And do start turn equals function.
All right.
And you can just set the array, the alarm 0 to be equal to 1. Because essentially the enemy is animating. That needs to happen at the start of the turn. So that's once the turn starts, you're going to do that.
Right.
And boom, there we go. That's the enemy's turn, essentially. It's going to start that thing. And when the alarm's over, it's going to end its turn.
Okay.
And let's do it really simple on the player. We're going to make the player not even function. Let's go into the player. The battle player, yep.
Yep.
And we're going to say start turn equals function.
Should it be before the data pool or after it?
It doesn't matter because it's going to be completely set. It's its own standard. It's its own thing. So you can put it wherever it feels best for you.
Start turn.
Now it's going to be equal to a function. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
And we're just going to make the player end its turn. Start of their turn, they're going to end its turn.
So end turn.
Perfect. So the player won't do anything. It's basically just going to skip its turn, and the enemy is going to should be taking their turn. Who knows if this works? Let's try it.
All right.
And then if it works, then I can talk it through and explain it, and then hopefully it clicks. And once again, if it doesn't, if you don't like the system, you could always just we didn't affect your battle switcher or your battle manager, your original one. It should just still work fine.
Okay. So hitting it, we have an issue. Oh, all right. I see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's because we're okay. So what is? Oh, these are your action objects. I see.
Yeah, all the objects appear inside it.
Yeah. So okay. So let me explain something I don't like about some tutorials, and they're good. It's good and bad, but a lot of tutorials, what they do, I think we've talked about this, is they write it in a way that's easy to get it working, but like absolutely awful for editing if you want to do anything
like
kind
this.
of you want to start customizing it, making it your
Right.
own. They've already coded everything in a very specific way that makes it like
Yeah,
not
to
manageable. It's
adjust,
like-
making it so it's a Battle Manager 2, you have to go and fix like 6 different objects to get
yeah,
it
this is
all
exactly. It's spaghetti because why do your buttons care about the battle manager?
right.
The buttons are an aspect of the player, and the players these buttons should work whether if it's the player's turn, these buttons should work. If it's not the player's turn, these buttons shouldn't work. The buttons shouldn't have to know about the battle manager. The buttons only should have to know about the player. So okay, here's what I'm going to suggest. We're gonna commit to Git because now we're gonna have to do some things to make it so that it runs with the new battle manager, and I don't want to leave you in a weird state.
All right. So all right, we're committing.
Okay, and let's comment out 2 through 7.
Comment it out or just adjust it to say Battle Manager 2?
Nope, we're gonna comment it out
Okay.
because, like I said, the button shouldn't know about battle manager. It's not. They're an aspect of the player, not the battle manager. So it's weird that they interact with the battle manager. And let's comment out. We're gonna comment out all of this actually. Like the left pressed and the actually okay
Well,
here
all right.
no here you can erase or undo this. We're just gonna remove the buttons from the battle.
Okay. So in the room, we'll just take the buttons out for now.
Yeah, for now, exactly.
Okay. 2 mouse tail. You think tutorials are like that because the code to do things properly can be quite long, and people want the minimum code. The minimum code, not the code that is actually possible. Yes.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And welcome in, by the
And
way.
it's good because sometimes it lets you know, hey, look, you can have this like, oh, RPGs aren't big and scary, but at the same time that it kind of puts you off on a bad foot. So I'm not saying they're wrong. It's just like,
Well, it would be fine if that's all you wanted and you just wanted to make a game based off of the tutorial and that was it.
Yep.
This is more complex than that tutorial that we ran through at the beginning of the series with starting that. And now we need it to be more flexible, different objects, all that kind of stuff than it was originally in the tutorial scope, right?
yeah, exactly.
All right.
Let's run the game though. There's a shot this works here. So, and we haven't actually put any combat in. We basically just made it so that if it works, we're just going to see the enemies visually attack every second, essentially. Okay. That's what we're hoping to see.
Where's my skeleton? All right. So it now took us in. One of them immediately tried to attack.
OBJ battle enemy. Okay, if we go into the battle enemy, can we take a look at where that?
Battle enemy and turn
not
set before
we have to. Did we inherit in this object? I don't know that we did in the create event.
Let me get this out of the way.
Yeah, we got to event inherit. We haven't inherited yet. So at the very, very top, we're gonna event inherited, and that's one of the things I usually always put at the very top.
There we go.
If you don't have a reason for it to not be at the top, it should be at the very top for clarity. Okay, and then we try one more time. That was not a logic problem. So.
All right, back through. Up, 1 attacked, 2 attacks, 3 attacks.
Okay, waiting till it catches up on stream here for me. Okay. And is it just looping through them, or?
It is. It's going 1, 2, 3, and then repeats 1, 2, 3. None of them are doing any damage, which is fine. But we're looking at the loop of them going. So they're in a loop though.
And that's what we want though, right? Because this is technically what it should be. We want to loop through the turn order one at a time. You take your turn. You perform your action.
Yeah, except right now it's not including the player.
Right, because the player is more complex than the
Yes.
enemies, right? The player needs to have those buttons responding,
Right.
and that's why I kind of wanted to show you this working first, so we could see this system. So for example, think about my game Desuku Pet, where it's an auto battler RPG. My player behaves just the same as your enemies do, and as the enemies do. They just player attacks, enemy attacks, player attacks, enemy attacks. There's no input to it. It's an idler. So if you were making an idle RPG, you would almost be done here, right? You would just make your player do the same thing the enemies do, and then you have this auto battle system, right?
Right.
So you technically could say, "Hey, I have made an RPG battle system, and it's done here. Put some stats in, and
Yeah,
make
the
modifiers,
base
and call it a day."
of that being
But
an auto attack system would be fine. However, I'm not making it auto. I want
yeah,
the
of course.
player to have actions that they can choose from.
Yep. And to be clear, I'm not saying you should make your game an auto
No,
battler.
yeah,
I'm
I
saying
get
when
that.
people are like, "Oh, RPGs are hard," it's like, well, technically, you've already finished one right now. You've made an RPG battle system, and it's a very basic, very minimal one. But you could say, "Hey, like this is the idea of it."
Right.
But yeah, you want players to do their own thing, and this is where it now gets to be a little bit trickier. But it's not that difficult here. Let's go into the player, right, and see why this is happening. But does the flow of the battle system and the Battle Manager 2 make sense based off of now kind of like, do you want to walk through it one more time just
Yeah.
now that we have the game running so you can see the flow while the game is playing?
So, Battle Manager 2. We are. Let me think. How's it? Is it just? Yeah, it's just this. Essentially, right? It's just repeating this.
Yeah, so it gets a list of battlers at the very start. It does that once.
Right.
It starts the alarm, and the alarm is the battle flow. The alarm is the thing that keeps the battle cycling. So once that alarm fires, think of that timer there as anytime you set alarm 0, that's the time in between turns.
Right.
Try setting alarm 0 to 0 seconds in both places.
Okay.
If you run the game now, they'll basically just rapid fire attack. So that's what alarm 0 is doing. It's determining the time in between turns. So if you want like a fast-paced game, you can make it much quicker, or you can make it dynamic. You can make it so based off of the speed of the next enemy is how quickly they attack. So that there's kind of like a real-time aspect to it.
Or they don't attack at all.
If you stop that timer, if you don't set that alarm, oh wait, they're not attacking now.
I don't see them moving at all.
Right. You have to set it. You can't set it to 0. 0 breaks alarms. You have to set it to 1. 1 frame. It has to be like
1 frame.
You could do like point 0.1, or you can do just the number 1, and that'll make them attack instantly. I forgot that you can't do that for alarms.
There it goes. Yeah, it's just the delay in between each attack. But it is going in sequence. So
Exactly. So you could set that to 10 seconds. It'll be a 10-second time. So that's what alarm 0 is doing. So while this is running, let's go back into the battle manager.
Okay.
So we set the alarm
0
to be whatever we want the delay. After the turn delay happens, we go down to alarm 0, where we're saying, "Hey, current participant, take your turn." We get the current participant, and then we say, "Hey, current participant, start your turn."
Right.
And this is where the system gets flexible, because now you can make different units handle their turns in different ways. Because some units might have different attacks. The players, like even the enemies, might animate differently, right? They might have different effects, different animations. You might want them to do different choices.
Right.
Like maybe they have 3 different attacks that the enemy can pick between. So you want the start turn, each unit to handle their turn potentially different. And you can put you can put custom start turn behavior and turn logic in each of those battlers and have them be different. And as long as they end their turn, the battle system will keep looping, basically, right?
Right.
So if we go to start the enemy again, once start turn basically starts the alarm, and then that final alarm is what ends the turn.
battle enemy.
By the way, for stuff like this, since you have like the way I like structuring the resource folder on the right is for this reason. You have that battle folder there, right? All your battle things are accessible. You can just double click
Yeah.
on them quickly as name, which is really nice for the context shifting.
Just so everybody can sort of see.
Oh yeah, right.
I tend to keep it off the screen, but you can see like I have things like color coordinated, game resource system, and then in here like I have entities, room, battle, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so at the core though, we have the enemies working. Okay, let me explain one more thing here, right? In the alarm of the enemy, right? The enemy is no longer damaging the player. Somewhere inside here, in alarm 0 probably, when the enemy reaches, probably in that else there, I think the else is where it happened. That else is probably where the enemy should deal damage, because in that exact moment is the moment the enemy's in that final position.
Yeah.
That's when they hit. That's when they do the damage, right?
Right.
So here's where I would probably have the enemy try to target the player and do some damage. We're not going to do that yet, but maybe put a note in here. Say just a comment. Hey, this is where the enemy should do damage.
Okay.
Okay, cool. But yeah, let's leave the enemy like this for now. Let's just worry about the player. Let's go talk about the player, because the player, like I said, is once you start to have control is where it gets more complicated. Okay,
and as always, was not paying attention. So chat, you are in ads. I do not need a be right back on this one. I'm on my last of my coffee, so there's that. But
okay, cool.
I think we're gonna work through things through this ad break.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah, and I won't be too much longer here too, because like this can be endless. I want to leave you with a system that like you kind of know where to go with, and in the meantime, you can always revert back to your Battle Manager 1 as well.
Sure.
So right now the problem is the player's turn looks like this. The player starts their turn and then immediately ends their turn, right?
Right.
So we should technically remove that from this.
The
So remove
end
that-
turn or the whole thing?
Just the end turn. Yep. Just the end turn, because the player they always need to be able to start their turn.
Right.
So we're defining now what so their start turn does nothing. Now what you could do here actually, which would be kind of cool, would be now you could create your attack button. Like here, would you want to only show your buttons always and have them gray out, or would you want them to appear when it's the player's turn?
Right now, they're always there.
You could make it so they only appear when it's your turn.
And that would be at this part here.
That would be here, yeah. Or what you would do is inside here, if they always exist, here's where you would say, hey, buttons, you are now active.
So then it gets, all right. So if they're not there, the energy one or the build up, does it lose it or restart it every time?
Oh, you just have to start saving that. So something like that, like the energy one would be something you could keep, because that's like a stat. That's more like a stat, right? That's not like an actual like
yeah.
input that you
So
have to
the
worry about.
energy, I think it should be being built up in player data, like regular player data, which is part of what we're grabbing here.
Oh yeah, okay. And yeah, it should always be there too, because think about this, like enemies might, you might take damage, that might increase it somewhat as well, stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's
So I wouldn't
it's
worry too much
inside
about it.
data charge.
Oh yeah, it's not even a button, right? It's just it's a drawn element. So this works fine. We don't have to worry about this. Okay. So let's do it this way. Let's create them. It's easier to do it that way, I think. Or which way would you prefer? It
Let's
doesn't matter
start
to me, they're
with
both the
having
same.
them not there, and we create it when it's the player's turn.
Okay, cool. So let's would you rather keep your old objects and like make new ones just to test with, or do you want to just kind of change the current existing ones?
We could probably just change the existing ones.
Okay, so let's do instance create, and we'll create the Yeah, just honestly, don't worry too much about positions now. Just do it like 100 to 100 for one, or yeah, like X plus. Like we're not going to worry about positioning because you can position them on your
Yeah,
own
so
time,
if I just
right?
do X and Y, that'll put it right at the player XY,
True. Okay. Yep.
which is fine for
And then yeah, create.
this.
And let's create the light button for now, because once again, if we get one working, I'm sure you could get the other one
Right.
working, right? Okay, so action light, not color coded. Damn, that is annoying. Okay. And let's go into the light button.
Oh, I know what I'm missing. The depth.
Oh yeah, okay. That could be it. Yep.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, and it knows it's there. I just can't click it.
Yep. Okay.
We'll go open it. All right. In here, this needs to be Battle Manager 2.
Oh, okay, interesting. So here's what I don't like, because here's what it's doing is this action, what it's doing is it's targeting the battle manager, which is targeting the player and telling it to do something. But like I said, this is a button that the player sort of owns. This is how I think of it, to reduce spaghetti. The button and the player, they're related essentially. They're not like, we don't need the battle manager. So let's change action. Let's get rid of that whole line. We're not going to do this.
So all this is in a parent 2. Hold on. Got to think about this.
This is fine. This is like, what you have here is totally fine. We're just going to change a couple things. So we're going to just say, we're going to erase battle manager, OBJ battle manager there on line 3.
All right.
And we're going to have it be the player, the battle player attack, OBJ battle player.
J battle player. Like that.
And let's just change it to attack, because we don't need it to be battle player dot player attack. Let's just call it attack.
Okay.
Okay. And then it's going to attack for that amount of damage. Now, right now, the battle player doesn't have an attack function, right? So we're going to have to make that. But first, let's go to that player attack function and see what player attack actually looked like. So that was in the Battle Manager 2, I believe, or Battle Manager 1.
Okay. This was Battle.
Yeah, Battle Manager 1. Remember, it's on that we can access it through the left as well. Okay, so let's copy this player attack function and let's move it over to the player. The player attack function.
Yeah.
Because once again, player attack, that's not a function of Battle Manager. That's something the player does. If you ever have something like a prefix, like player something, that means it should probably be in the player object itself. So let's put a new line and paste that function in here and change it to just attack.
Okay.
Okay, and now we choose, damage and target. Damage to enemy will equal damage. Targeted enemy equals target. Okay, cool. Enemy turn, I don't know what that means here yet. So let's put let's erase line 14 and lines.
This is getting really convoluted. I'm never going to be like.
No, trust me. This is going to be way simpler. I promise. I promise this will be better.
I'm a little lost on it now, but all right.
Okay, don't worry. I will get there.
Okay.
Erase lines 14 and 15. We don't need them.
Okay.
Actually, we might need line. Actually, yeah, erase them both. Erase them both.
What am I doing?
Erase both those lines. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, on the player's turn, when you press this button,
right,
that light attack button, it's going to do this attack here, essentially, right? Cool. And you're going to attack an enemy.
Yes.
Which we can choose. You don't have a selection system yet. Do you know how you plan on doing that eventually?
Well,
picking an enemy, like you clicking on them, or
clicking, I think is probably going to be the best way, because I have mouse in other things in here, so you can interact with your inventory with the mouse. I think clicking would be fine.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. So that's fine.
Because it's either clicking or you can tab through them, or we make it so it's both. You know.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So like tab would be cycling through them. You hit tab and it highlights one. You hit tab again, it goes to the next one, and then you can do it. Or you just click on them.
Okay.
And I think
so. For now, we're not going to worry too much about targeting, because that's going to be a can of worms. Let's get rid of line 16 as well. We're going to really simplify this.
Okay.
Okay. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to say, So once again, the same thing. When the player walks up, the damage shouldn't be dealt right away. It should be dealt when they get into position, right? When they get close to the enemy. That's when they should attack, right?
Okay, wait. So when you're in the overworld, nothing happens for attacks. Essentially,
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm talking about entirely in the battle system. The
Okay.
player takes a couple steps forwards, and then they do the damage, right?
when you hit the button to attack, it moves. Yes, you are correct in the way it's working. So you hit the button to attack, the player moves whatever it is 20 pixels. At that moment, it then attacks.
Exactly. So that moment in this case is line 8. We should make a new line below line in the alarm, I should say. Sorry.
Yes, right
That
here.
that line in there. Just keep that line. Make a new one.
Okay.
Let's do attack inside here. We can't do it. No, this is no. Okay, we're gonna simplify. I'm so sorry. We're gonna
Okay.
simplify it. We're not gonna worry about animation accurate timings right now, because that's a whole thing. Okay, we're close to being done here. I promise. We're gonna go back into that button, the light button. I think the light button should actually just work. Let's just go back into it though to make sure.
Okay.
Okay, so it's gonna do player.attack, which we now have, and it's gonna pass through the damage. We need to pass through a target. So let's do comma at the end of that, because we need to give it a target now, so that we only attack one. Let's just do obj battle enemy. We're gonna pick one. This isn't gonna be right, but we don't have a specific way to target yet, so we're just gonna pick one.
Okay.
Okay, so you click that button, we attack. That calls that attack function, and that kind of should be good. Let's comment out the step event and the and line 2 of the left pressed event.
Okay. Oh, I can't. All right. That's in the parent. So inherit, override.
Just open parent. Open the parent, because we want to change it in the parent.
So
One of the options there was open parent.
okay.
Okay, so yeah, comment out line 2.
All right.
We don't need that step event. We can just comment that out too.
Okay.
Let's run the let's go back into the parent the player real quick. I just want to make sure that his turn isn't ending turn immediately.
So I've lost. There it is.
Okay, so yeah, he's going to do this. He's going to attack, and we actually should start the animation in here too. Let's do alarm 0 equals 1
In the
just to start
attack.
the animation going. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right.
Right in here, alarm 0 equals 1.
Okay.
And the last thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to alarm 1.
Yep.
We're going to put an else on that if.
All right.
And we're going to turn in here as well, because remember, this is the same as an enemy, same as your enemy, right? Once they move back into position, that's when their turn should be done. So we can end our turn in here.
End turn.
And then let's destroy the button actually as well. We should destroy that button that we shouldn't be able to click. So let's do with whatever those buttons are called, instance destroy.
With so for this one, just like the
Yeah, I don't know if they have a parent or if there's any other ones we need to worry about, but yeah, we can just do
I think
with light.
they have a parent called action.
Okay, let's just do action. Let's just do whatever's easier.
All right.
And then you can instance destroy in here.
With parent action. You can put this underneath. Instance destroy. All right.
Okay, and run the game. I'm hopeful. This is gonna work first try. It's gonna work first try.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, my brain was fried when I first went through this. I think once it's working and you kind of see it,
Yeah, sometimes the initial setup of stuff gets me a little bit when we start changing things because it takes me a little bit to understand it. Then I finally get like the way I have it set. And so that's in my head and I'm trying to overwrite that memory of how things are with the new way
yeah,
and they get jumbled together sometimes.
yeah, and that's
It's
fair.
just
And
the way it
that's
is.
why I think this is going to be good is because it's a very like straightforward. It's a minimal amount of spaghetti. Sorry, is it running yet or?
It didn't pick it up. Let's try that. There it is. Okay. So it ran. The enemies all attacked. And now it's the player's turn. So the enemies
Yeah,
are
so the
attacking
players.
first.
So the player's waiting there for its turn, right? And if you press
Yes.
that button, the player should take its turn.
Yes. So it went enemies, player.
Hell yeah! And now it's back to the player's turn, right?
Yes. So they are going through the loop. There is no damage, which is fine. This is mostly to identify the attack sequencing.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting the
Right.
turn order down. And then the button, it disappears, right? When you press, when you click
Yes.
it, right? Because it gets destroyed when the turn's over.
Right. So I click it for the player's turn. It disappears during the enemy's attacks, and then it's back for the player.
Okay. So we agree that it is now without damage. Oh, actually, I'm kind of surprised it's not dealing damage to the enemies because it should be, but I'm not going to be too worried about that yet. 'Cause
Yeah, I'm
there's
not
probably
worried
something,
about it.
but the turn flow is working now, which is very nice. And seriously, the fact that it worked first try, I think, is a testament for how simple the system is ultimately.
Right.
Because it's not this big like spaghetti where this thing talks to this, that then talks to this thing, and there's like all these alarms that it's like, no, it's a very simple flow. Before I think we should go through it one more time, just the flow of it, just so we can see how it works for both turns. But do you have any questions about or any confusion about any of this up front here?
I mean, there's always confusion, but I think I have it fairly sorted out.
Okay.
So
Do you want to walk me through the battle flow?
I think so. So right now, when we first enter the room, we're inside the battle manager.
Yeah. This is the big boy. This is the important thing. This is the one that handles
Right.
battle systems.
This is where it's immediately identifying who's going first as well.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned that, right? You're like you want the player to go first, right?
I think so because otherwise you're caught. I mean, you can do it this way because you can totally catch the player off guard.
Yeah.
As soon as you come in, they're attacking.
So think about
I think
this
we
way,
should have
right?
that
You could do a lot
option
of things.
for right now. Because at the
So
same
yeah, let's
time, I'm
keep it
kind of
simple.
thinking of it.
But I want to give you some cool thoughts. There's array sort, right? You can sort that array in whatever order. For example, imagine if all your battlers had a speed stat, you could sort the array by speed, and now it's just whoever attacks first, whoever has the fastest speed, they're the ones who goes first.
Right.
You could randomly roll like a surprise attack value, and if a surprise attack is true, then add 100 to all the enemy's speed stats, and now they always go first out of you because they surprised you.
Right.
But for now, you want the player to go first just because you just want the player to go first.
Sure.
Instead of doing with parent battler, you can do just with parent enemy. And then you could do a separate one for the player and do that one first. So you add the player first, or you could just manually add the player. You know what I mean? Like you're going to add.
So if I want the player to go
Here, let's do
first.
this. Inside online too.
Yep.
Just put. Oh, actually, no, that won't work because I think it will.
Okay.
Yeah, so just do a second. Literally highlight lines 7 through 9 and Control D.
It
Change the first one to the player.
So this is the object battler player.
Yep. And the second one to enemies.
The
the battler enemies. battle enemy.
Yeah. So, oops. Object, battle, enemy. Okay.
So that makes sense, right? You have your participants array. Position 0 is the one that goes first. So if you add the player first, it's their turn first.
Okay.
So you add the player, and then you add the enemies.
Cool.
Okay. So then the alarm, remember we set the,
Yep.
you're explaining to me. You're
Right.
explaining to me. Walk
So
me
now
through this.
we set the alarm, and it is going through who the participants are.
Yep.
We've identified the array here, and that is the array 0 is your current participant.
Right. So we're grabbing whoever's first in the list is the one who goes first, basically.
Right.
So we're grabbing that person. Yep, that's exactly right.
And then we start to turn.
So that very specific instance, we start their turn. And we're done with the battle manager, by the way, here.
Right.
So now we're not in the battle manager.
So now
we've
we
started
go
their turn.
to, that would be battle enemy, right?
It could be the player too, right? It could be whatever, right? Actually, in this case,
It will
would
be the player.
because we did put the player first. So let's follow order. Yeah. Okay.
So now we have start turn. It is creating the button for the attack.
And this is the cool part about start turn as well, is it's your turn forever until end turn is called. If you don't call end turn, your turn isn't over. So yeah, your turn has started, and you could walk away for a coffee, and it's still your turn here.
Right.
All start turn does is create a button, basically.
Now,
and so all the while here, to be very clear, the battle manager is just going to patiently wait until it's told that its turn is done, essentially.
right. You run the button. It does the alarm 0, which is moving itself. And then at the end of that move of the character, it runs alarm 1. It resets back to where it needs to be. That's where it ends turn and destroys the button.
Yeah, exactly.
And then because we did end turn, it now knows to start the enemies. And then the loop essentially goes again. The enemies do their thing. They go through their where in here it does their movement in the same exact thing at the end of their movement phase, and they come back to their start position. It's ending turn. And then the loop starts over
Let's
again.
middle mouse click on end turn just so we know fully well what the flow is. Because that's
that worked. All right. So it brought me here.
So yeah, end turn is as simple as telling the battle manager, hey, the turn is over.
Right.
So let's go back into the battle manager to look at turnover, just so we fully grasp the flow.
No. Okay. Too much to ask for. I know. There we are. And that was it. Turnover. So what happens is deleting participants. We delete it from the turn array, basically, like the current one. And then it gets replaced.
Yeah, and why are we doing that?
To identify, like, to restart the turn. Whoops. Right. So like when we restart, it now has that enemy back, or
it's cycling the turn order, basically. It's like saying, hey, you just took your turn, back of the line.
Right.
And then we start that alarm, which is that buffer time, which you can increase back again, by the way. That is
I mean, it's fine right now because if I'm going through it, I don't want it too long anyways for the testing.
That's actually a great point. Yeah, good call.
So
But yeah, so here's what's really cool, and you explained it perfectly, by the way. I think you nailed that whole thing. What's nice about that, I think, what I really like about it is at its core is you can follow the flow very cleanly. It's like you follow these functions. This function points to this, which points to this. You just follow that flow. If you need to change anything, you change kind of the step, one of those functions along the way, or yeah, you basically are just changing that stuff essentially, and it's
right.
that simple. And now your enemies can do whatever you want. Your player can be as complex or simple as you want them to be.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't want to blow your brain too much further, but any other questions about this system?
No, I think that that's a good point for this. It establishes a turn sequence, right? So let me make this a little bigger on stream here. Right now, and ignore the button on top of the head. When we press the button, the character is going to move forward and then come back. Its turn's going to end. It will then go through the sequence of enemies like this, and each one will go, it'll take a turn, it moves, it immediately goes to the next one. And it does that when the character, like the enemy, moves forward and then back. Once it hits the back position or its original start X position, it then goes to the next enemy. And that's all this is doing.
Yep, 100%. Now, one thing I've been thinking about this a bunch recently, and we're not going to go into it today, but I want to offer this for maybe some other stream sometime. But have you heard of signals or observer pattern or event systems? Signals is probably the best way to describe it.
Okay. Like I've heard of them, but not maybe in the way you're describing it. So what do you mean by signals?
So it's a programming pattern. It's called observer pattern. Godot uses it. Its engine relies on it essentially, and it's really cool, really useful. The closest thing we actually have to it is broadcast messages and sprites and sequences.
Okay.
You know how you can be like, oh, this sprite hits frame number 3, broadcast this message.
Oh,
and then something else can receive that message and say, oh, on frames 2 and 3, footstep is broadcast. So I'm going to play the sound effect footstep.
Yes.
And it's a really cool way of like making objects not really have to touch each other. Like they don't. Spaghetti is what happens when an object knows too much about another object. Two objects are all intertangled together. But with signals, what you can do is you could fire a signal out, and then something else can just receive that signal and do whatever it wants with it. So me and Pope, Pope made this signal library. Signal libraries, they're really small, but I can share it with you sometime. We can chat through it on another stream if you want. But it'd be really good for being like, hey, this enemy is firing a damage signal, and the target is the player. And the player then receives that signal and does whatever it wants with it. And then the player, the same thing, you get to it. Oh, well, which enemy did you click on? Oh, you clicked on this enemy. That enemy fires a signal so that the player knows who to attack. Which could be a clean little way of like connecting these systems up together. Right. And it's really simple to use. It's like it's basically signal broadcast and signal subscribe. You'd say, hey, subscribe to a damage event, and then this thing sends out a damage event, or subscribe to a target event. Oh, well, here's a target event. You clicked on an enemy, target event fired, right?
Yep.
Not getting into it now because I don't want to blow your brain, and my voice, I don't know if you can tell, is blown out right now. So I just wanted to throw that out there if you want to chat about it sometime. But
yeah,
any
I think that'd be good
about that or anything else for today before I hop off?
No. Once I get confused during the process, but I've established like how the order of all this is working now. So I think it turned out. I think it turned out nice. I think the whole cycling through is working correctly, and that was kind of the objective.
It's simple and it's flexible, and you can expand on it later to do sorting, turn orders, speeds, etc. So that's all cool. And by the way, this oh my god, voice. Last thing I'll say. The same thing happens to me last week or last stream with Pope. We're going through something that I had no idea what. I didn't really get it fully, and my brain by the end of it was just melted. I was destroyed. So You're not the only one that happens to. It takes time to learn
Yeah,
all this
and
stuff, and
sometimes it's also hard because I have streamer brain. So like I'm paying attention to the stream 100 almost like all the time, right? Then I'm trying to understand how I previously wrote stuff and try to interject new stuff. And when they start blending together and like replacing each other, it confuses me for a little while. But that's
fair.
fine. Like I sort through it. This one was a faster sort than normal, so we're good there.
Yeah, I think a fun thing that you could do either later today or tomorrow is go through your old battle manager and explain how it worked.
Yeah.
Try to explain the flow of it, and then go and explain the flow of the new one to yourself, and you'll be like, ah, okay.
Yep.
Because I bet you'll have a little bit of trouble parsing and tracking the old one, even though it's the one you're more familiar with. I think you'll be like, oh, okay, I think I see. And that could be a good thing, by the way, just being like, oh, I can't even read this anymore. Whereas this, okay, I'm not fully grasping it, but I can at least follow it.
Right.
But yeah, cool, good stuff. I don't want to keep you any longer. I'm gonna jump up here.
I do have one
yeah.
quick question for you.
Oh, sure.
So let me get it back up here so it shows up on screen. When I was working on my scenery,
Yep.
right now, depth is off a lot. So like I can walk on top of trees, objects, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I want
can you show me
to
your tree object?
make it, well, that's my other thing. I have most of it as sprites, and they're in a layer,
Like an asset layer, right?
Yeah, like a regular like asset layer.
Okay, so
My
there
thought
might be a
was
way to solve. Yeah, go on.
I was going to turn them all into objects.
Yep.
To be able to assign depth and all that stuff to it easier.
Right.
I can't, and I have a ton of them. Do I have to go one by one to make it into an object? Or is there a quick way to select, like, I don't know, these sprites and say, I want these converted into an object so it keeps everything with it?
Okay, yeah, so yes, absolutely yes. In fact, I think Mash Arcade actually has a video on this where he talks about placing assets as sprites in the room as assets and then looping through them and converting them to objects. That's possible to do. And the cool thing is these you don't need a rock object, and you don't need a tree 1 object and a tree 2 object and a tree 3 and a stump object. You could just have a prop object that's just a thing that, hey, I sit here and I display myself with this sprite. So yeah, you could technically loop through all these objects or all these sprites,
right?
Create a like a prop object with that sprite that you've just gotten from each one of those sprites, and then your prop object should be an entity, and your entity object should have, I think your entity parent does have depth equals -y, right? Which means wherever it is, it's gonna depth sort appropriately.
Cameron, it must be impossible to be a game dev because you are thinking about quitting. That thought does come up a lot. It comes up sometimes in the middle of being frustrated. But once, I'm not sure what engine you're using, but it it does come up, right? And you have to step back sometimes. I do it. I'll get frustrated with it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm done with this. I think I've said that a few times on stream. I'm done with it. You know? And you just have to, I don't know, like, it's a common thing. So, like, don't feel like you're singled out or you're the only person that thinks about quitting because it's tough, right? So you're using Unreal, but you need to find an engine that's easy for you. This is GameMaker, and I chose GameMaker because, one, I like 2D, but I thought it was a really good way to get into learning game development. I felt intimidated by Unreal and Unity because of the 3D elements that are part of it. And it intimidated me.
2D is for sure easier than 3D.
Right. So, this I feel like is a really good way to get started. Plus, I'm always encouraging people to do GameMaker. But
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like Unreal's an interesting one because it does a lot of stuff for you. It can make like you can press a button and it'll give you a 3D platformer, third person camera, like a full game essentially, like a full game controller. And it's like, wow. But the type of game it's giving you is a game that's really hard to make in full. And it's like, okay, well, sure, it gives you a lot of stuff, but also those type of games for one person to make is crazy.
and just like you're saying there, Cameron, like you're trying to learn 3D, but you need to learn like Blender and all these other software. I mean, you got to learn some other stuff with GameMaker too, but like that was intimidating to me. And so I chose not to go down that path. One, this is a hobby.
Yeah.
Not my full-time job.
I think that's a big thing that people should remember that.
Right.
Why are you doing this? Do you want to make a commercial game? If you do, it's going to get stressful at some point and it won't always be fun. Are you doing it for fun? Because if so, then it's for fun. Don't worry too much. Take a break.
Like I haven't got there yet, but I may, eventually I'll have a game where I'll be like, you know what, I can put this for sale and make a little bit with it, whatever it makes. But that's not my key purpose for stuff. Like I'm enjoying learning the process of how to make a game so that I can make the games.
If you're doing it for fun, if at any point a project stops becoming fun, ask yourself why you're still working on the project. Do you need to take a break and work on something smaller? Do you need to just do something else, another hobby for a little bit, come back to it when it's fun again? Maybe you're doing too much. Maybe you want to learn game dev. It's like, well, why are you also learning to make music and sprites and market? Like maybe just get some asset packs and stuff. Maybe you don't want to.
And I do that a lot.
Maybe you just want to put a cool scene together, right? Like figure out what you want to do, but why you do it.
You're looking to turn your book into games because your book is about emotions and stuff. So you want to make a game to help people with life.
My first thought comes like what.
I mean, I think
there's engines out there that are even easier than GameMaker and stuff. Like you can use stuff like RenPy to make visual novels and stuff like that. Like, is Unreal really the best, easiest fit for you to actually, finish that sort of project? There's no right or wrong answers here. It's just, stuff to think about. If something's making you unhappy, take a little bit of a moment to figure out. Is it just temporary frustration? Maybe you're pushing yourself too hard. Maybe you're trying to do too much. I burned out recently on Desukapet. I'm taking a break on a little side project. And sometimes you just got to take a little break.
Right. And I chose 3-month-long projects for a little while for the part of this year because I completed a year-long game that was crazy to me because of beginning me and the end me at that point were two totally different programmers for coding, and everything was spaghettified and trying to make it blend all together in work. So it turned out to be a really good first project. And so I can always look back to it and say, this is where I started and this is where I'm at. But to avoid some of the burnout, I've done smaller projects. And the other thing is, if you're going into Unreal because you play AAA games, top line games all the time, and you see that style graphics and that's why you want to do it, that's a lot of work, right? That's a lot of dedication, probably a lot of burnout. There's a lot of frustration points to it. I don't know. It depends on, if you want 2D, 3D, because there's a lot of good engines to help you get into it. I also was not a programmer before I started this, so I'm learning everything as I'm going forward. I don't know. Grog, any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think we both covered it pretty well. Yeah, I just don't. I guess one more thing I'll say is there's a lot of game dev tools out there that makes it seem so accessible, and so many games come out that it's like, oh, I can make a game too. But when you think about it, the fact that anybody makes any games is wild, especially solo
Yeah.
developers. It is so hard to make games, despite how easy these tools are. Because if you want to make a game, it's like, well, you need art assets, you need music, you need sound, you need to code, you need to code well, you need to organize, you need to project manage, you need to, if you want to release it, like there's just so much stuff, and it's like, oh, why aren't I making this? Like, why isn't my game done? It's like, it's hard. Give yourself a break.
Sure.
Like, it's so much work to do. So,
yeah. Oh, and Grog, I think we're done with that stuff. If you have stuff you want to do or hop off, that's fine. I think we're just gonna chit chat about some stuff here.
Good. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna jump off and I'm gonna get some water.
There you go.
Jesus Christ, I need that. All right. Well, good work today. I will catch you later. I'll be lurking in a little bit here anyways.
Okay.
But later, folks.
Later. So, you want an engine that's easy, that you can do 3D, and you don't really care so much about the graphics, right? I think Godot is probably a good way to go. I feel like, and Kelvar, you might be able to answer a little better with that, because you use, and I can't remember if it's Unity or Unreal. I think Godot handles both 2D and 3D really well. I think it's a little easier to learn. GameMaker is really good at 2D, not very good with 3D. You can do it, it's just not very good. I think Godot would be the next, like, probably your top choice to learn. Kelvar, you use Unity. Godot is a solid choice. Yeah. So, Cameron, I think Godot is probably where you want to go to. You know, there is lots of tutorials, lots of people streaming Godot as well. I get different people that come in here all the time for it. And yet, you're welcome to join the Discord. I don't have a very big Godot section. Mostly, it's all where we talk GameMaker. But happy to help and find stuff or get you pointed in right directions. And actually, look up Ballad of Bellium on Steam for a 3D version in GameMaker. Yes. GameMaker does have it. And there are people, Tiny Devil Games that is occasionally around, works with 3D GameMaker. So, as somebody making a 3D GameMaker game, you can't recommend it. It's tough, right? Because you have to force the engine to do something that it's not necessarily wanting to do very easy. So, but like I said, I think Godot is probably going to be your choice. I think it's easier to get into than Unreal or Unity. It can get pretty in-depth as well, but I think it's a good starting point for you. And for me, especially doing these 3-month projects, I am not doing the artwork. These are bundles, asset bundles that I am buying that can be used in commercial projects. So I have like the right to use it, but there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you find artwork that somebody else has done that they're selling that you want, by all means, use it. It takes a lot of pressure off of you, and you can concentrate more on, say, the coding, right? Yeah, so like I have all the stuff that I'm doing like right here that you're seeing on the screen, that's all assets that that were part of a package and I bought. Yeah, I have to take time and place them and do all that stuff, but it's the coding side that I'm trying to work on. And I can edit and do certain things with them. I just, especially like this is only a 3-month long RPG. I am not sitting here and making all these assets for it. So I was happy to find this package. And Hamster, yeah, you delved into 3D and GameMaker before too. Yeah. And I know Godot has lots of stuff that's available. Grog, this is the video you were talking about, 3 minutes long, but this would work. Replace the word platform with prop object. Yeah. Let me omen that, and we'll save that. Generate platforms with layers in GameMakers. In GameMaker. Nice. So, Amrit, do you have any other questions that maybe somebody here can help answer? This is how I'll convert the trees to objects. Nice. Yeah, all this stuff is like, these are sprites right now. And I was like, oh, I really kind of want to like maybe convert them over so that I can control them a little better. So I'll be looking into that. Yeah, 2D it looks good. You would try it, but I'm not good at art. That's okay. You don't need to be good at doing the art. Like I said, I am not. I know how to do art. It takes time. And a lot of times, like, especially if I'm doing a 3-month long challenge project like this RPG game, I don't want to have to make it. So I am happy to, especially like trying to do all this, right? I am happy to find an asset bundle to use, and then all I have to worry about is the coding. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't do any of it when I started. But I've worked my way through. So like, I did a tutorial on how to do a remake of Asteroids. I've done a couple like game jams. My first full game was Pixel Warrior. Then I did a couple 3-month long stuff along with another newer game jam. And you can see how like things are progressing from like early game jams to this one. And I say early, like it was a big difference. I've only been doing this now just under 2 years. So that's about it. Oh, and Kenny stuff. Yes. Did that open right? Correct. Here. Yeah. Lots of assets. Tons of them are free, really good looking ones. Stuff that is available, I believe, can be used for most things, right? Yeah, it's all pretty much free. So you got 2D, 3D, stuff that can be used in Godot and other engines as well. So some cool stuff to it. And like I said, yeah, feel free to join the Discord. Always there, along with others, trying to help each other. So, but looking for a direction, I would probably choose Godot with that. Because it'll give you the option whether you want to do 2D or 3D. And I feel like it's just a good start engine. All right, where are we at? So today, we evaluated, or we were able to get the attack sequencing done, right? So if we bring this back down here, let me turn that on. right? We have our enemies. So now when we go to attack one, oh, it doesn't see that one. It sees that one. All right. When we go to attack, they now have a sequence, right? So it'll start with the player and we can attack, and then it'll roll through each of the enemies in a turn-based attacking system. Yeah, hopefully soon you can make your first game. I suggest not making your first attempt to be your big game. I recommend a couple small projects to learn it, to build up to it. And every time you're learning in your next project, your code is going to be different, right? So spend some time, do a couple small projects, work your way into it, and then work into your actual game, right? That's my thought. Make asteroids. Learn something small, right? Maybe I don't know if anybody has particular suggestions on it. Asteroids clone, yeah. I think that's all good stuff, right? So, like I said, I did asteroids for my first one, and that's just a good one to learn. But I would do, small stuff. Make a character. It doesn't even have to be a game. You could just make a small, like a room, make a character, learn how to control it, make it move around. You could have make an enemy in there and make it move around on its own and call that template 1 or practice 1, and then make something else. And each time you just keep adding to it, right? So it could be that, just to learn the engine. So, speaking of that, I think it's almost it's getting close to about 11 a.m. I have some stuff I need to get done before I come back here and take a break and game a little bit, and then also get back to working on this because I am gone all next week. So Monday through Friday for work, I will be out of town. I got to travel, and I'm not going to be able to work on anything. So I will be spending a decent amount of time this weekend trying to work on some stuff. But I think we're going to find somebody to roll out. And since we have an interest in Godot, I think we'll pick somebody that is doing Godot. So let me see who is on. Who is on this morning with Godot? All right. First one I'm coming to in my list is we'll visit Mr. D-Boy. All right. So I think we're going to go ahead and end right into Mr. D-Boy here. Let me get that started. Mr. D-Boy is using Godot. He has a game on Steam called Mr. Farm Boy. It's a farming sim. And he's a good one to learn some stuff with for Godot. Now, tomorrow, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, I will be back on stream for a couple hours. And we'll continue and pick up from wherever I make it by the end of today. And it'll be good times, right? I appreciate everyone for being here. Cameron, thank you for coming in. I hope we've answered some of your questions. And I hope Mr. D-Boy is able to help as well with some of your stuff. But I appreciate everyone for being here. Grog, thank you for the help as always. Kalvar and everyone else, I appreciate it. And Hamster, thanks for hanging out. And Panuch as well. I will see everybody later. Let's go ahead and raid into Mr. D-Boy, and I will talk to you all later.